You are listening to South Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. To call the show toll-free, dial 1-888-GO-KANE 1.
Ah, yes. All right, we are back. It's Friday morning. It's Friday, right? I hope it's Friday. It better be Friday because I got plans. Certainly, it's Friday, the 6th of March, 2020. My name is Brian Craig. You are listening to Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. We're on the air weekdays from midnight until 9 a.m., live from 6 until 9 a.m., and morning drive weekday mornings. Overnight rebroadcast midnight till 6 a.m., 7 nights a week on whatever radio station you are listening to us on, and also, of course, whatever platform you are watching or listening to us on online as well. We're on 3 FM radio stations, our flagship AM station. Of course, you can also listen to us on the iHeart Radio app and the TuneIn app. Search for Aspire Station Call Letters. And you can also catch the show live on YouTube in high-definition video and stereophonic sound on YouTube. Just search Brian Craig on YouTube. And I just had a technical disaster just as the show open was playing that I am going to try to fix over the next segment or two, and it was a major technical disaster. You all don't know what it is, but I may be I'm always distracted by something. I know why am I always, it's because I'm doing everything by myself. Usually someone on the air has a producer that does all the technical things and all that stuff, and then all this stuff. I got to do the technical end and the talking. So when there's a technical issue, I've got to try to fix it while I'm talking and trying to concentrate on what I'm talking about. Welcome to the show. So much going on, so much happening. I'm so excited. We're in Trump's America. How could you not be excited? This Elizabeth Warren dropping out yesterday, the Democrat Party that tells you they're the party of diversity, how many non-white men did they toss out of the race and reject? You know, there's a lot of talk now, oh, we've only got white guys to choose from now, the liberals. Well, the liberals are the primary voters. These Democrats in the primaries decided they didn't want a black woman, a white woman, an Asian man, a black man. Tulsi Gabbard's Hawaiian. Is she Samoan? Is that the same as being Samoan? You know, the reason that the Democrats only have old white guys left is because Democrat voters that tell you they're the champions of diversity decided that they didn't want women or other minorities, okay, Asian, black. They didn't want any of that, or even a combination. And Nancy Pelosi's out there talking about, sexism and all this stuff. And I got to tell you, this will sound crazy. I have this in the title on YouTube. And I know a lot of people think this is crazy. Nancy Pelosi's right to a certain extent. That's right. Nancy Pelosi is right. There is sexism, certainly in the Democrat Party, and maybe a little racism too. They don't want another black president, I guess, at least not now. It is very difficult. And I'll tell you what I mean about Nancy Pelosi being right. Broken clock theory here, but Nancy Pelosi being right. It is very difficult for a woman to succeed in politics up to the level of presidency of the United States. And it's pretty simple reason why. To reach that level, your entire life must be in large part dedicated to it. And women, there is an expectation of women to be the person who takes care of the kids and the family. And for someone to reach the level of a presidential nominee and president, they make a lot of sacrifices. And a lot of those sacrifices involve family. And even President Trump, he's on his third marriage. And he's talked about how he neglected his first marriage for business. He's talked about that because he was so dedicated to that. There was neglect going on in the family. He's a good family guy now, but you understand what I'm talking. He's even talked about that. Ronald Reagan, his kids hated him. And I promise you, with this Hulu documentary, which I'm going to watch this Hillary Clinton Hulu documentary. I promise you, Chelsea Clinton has a lot of issues with her dad and her mom, by the way, I'm sure. women, if they do what you have to do to rise to that level, they are not appealing as a woman, as a candidate. You know, look at AOC. The most famous woman in the world is AOC. Never married, no kids. If she was married with children, would she be able to be jetting all over, endorsing losing candidates? No. No. She'd have to take care of the kids. And that's something that it's very difficult. And when a woman does that, when a woman rejects the stereotype of taking care of kids, taking care of family in the house, they're viewed in a negative light by society. That's the way it is. Nancy Pelosi can be right once in her life. And that's the way it is. I mean, you know, men that reach these levels of business and politics sacrifice family and everything else. Hillary Clinton carried herself just like a man, put up with her husband's scummy behavior, sacrificed a traditional role as a wife and husband, put a lot of sacrifice even on her child Chelsea by putting up with this, all for the ultimate prize. And look at how people look at her. People despise her for putting up with what she put up with and living the life she did. So I don't think in this day and age in American society that it is very easy for a woman to reach that level. And, you know, you may say Sarah Palin. Well, Sarah Palin didn't make it. Okay? She didn't make it. So, you know, there is some truth to that. You know, another thing, too, with Elizabeth Warren, this is amazing to me because I was talking to my wife about this last night on our podcast, Brian Craig Show podcast. Make sure you listen to the Brian Craig Show podcast, the most pro-Donald Trump podcast in the world. No one loves Donald Trump more than me. You will never hear me criticize President Trump, either on the radio or on my podcast. The Brian Craig Show podcast, a show I do with my wife, separate and apart from this show. Make sure you check it out on most podcast platforms and on my YouTube channel. But I was talking to my wife about this last night, and she was telling me that in her Facebook friend world that a lot of women really admire Elizabeth Warren. I don't see one positive quality about Elizabeth Warren. I don't know. You know, think about this. Elizabeth Warren has been a national figure for what? Going on about 8 years, right? 7, 8 years, because I don't know if did she finish a full Senate term? I think she did. So it's been about 7 years, because she was reelected, right, to the Senate seat. Do you know anything about her? What's her husband's, without Googling, what's her husband's name? Do you know anything about her kids? Does she have kids? How many? What are their names? Boys, girls? You know nothing about Elizabeth Warren, do you? Really? Nothing, except that she's a liar about being a Native American Indian. And that tells you something, doesn't it? You know nothing about her, which is amazing. For someone to be on the national stage for 6, 7, 8 years, and we know nothing about her. The only couple things we know about her are not good. Right? She made a fool out of herself on her Instagram live video where she was drinking beer, and that she lied about being a Native American Indian. But you know nothing about her. Nothing about her. She doesn't, you know, and it's amazing to me that women look up to her because I don't understand why. I don't know. You know, Elizabeth Warren used to be a Republican. She left the Republican Party. I don't think she left the Republican Party out of any change in views or opinions. I think she just saw the Democrat Party as a way for her to elevate herself. You know, when you look at Elizabeth Warren, she's out there with these fake tears yesterday, right? Trail of tears going on there in the driveway of the home with her husband behind her. I don't think people like seeing a husband standing behind a man or a woman like that. Do you? I think they like the man to be the front. But what does she stand for? She said yesterday she's going to continue the fight and the fight. Okay, what is she fighting for? She's fighting for herself. That's a big problem. She's fighting for herself. She stands for nothing other than personal advancement. And, you know, she came out of nowhere to me. I know in Democrat circles she's been known for a while, but she came out. I first heard her when she was running for that Senate seat, and she, much like Obama, what did she do when she got to the Senate? What did she do? Started running for president, right? She's done nothing but run for president. And does she have children? I honestly don't know. I could Google it. I don't know. And if she does, why were they not with her in the driveway during the fake Trail of Tears yesterday? So there's an expectation from people what they want from a candidate. But when it comes to women, I don't think people really want a woman that goes out completely rejects what we view a woman's role in our society is. And I don't mean barefoot and pregnant in a kitchen. What I mean is raising kids, and you don't see that with her. That's what people expect. I don't know. Does she have kids? If she does, why were they not with her on the driveway? Why is she running? What are her issues? I don't think people know. Now, someone might call me and say, she's got 3 kids, and they're this and that. You get the point I'm making, don't you? 888-GO-KANE-1, that is our number. 888-465-2631. We'll keep an open phone somewhat today. Keep kind of an open phone vibe going on. My name's Brian. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show. Let's take a call. Good morning. You're on the radio. Oh, wait. Hold on.
How are you?
Good. You're on. Okay, you're on now. Sorry about that. Go ahead.
Yeah. Hey, Mike. It's Mike from Boca. How are you?
Yeah, you're Mike. I'm Brian.
I was watching Fox yesterday. I saw her go on Elizabeth on her farewell speech, and it was like you said, it was total fraud. She was having that crying voice, and she mentioned sexism, and she mentioned about teaching, and it's kind of funny. In the very beginning, her husband got the dog. There's a bunch of people there, and then she kind of said something and tries to pull him up next to her. And I'm like, oh my, and I said to myself, what if she's got a beer around to give him?
Well, do you know if Elizabeth Warren has kids? Do you know that? Do you know?
I think maybe they're in South Dakota.
I don't know. You don't know anything about what is she running on? What's her purpose for running? Do you know?
I don't know. I know she was a teacher. I mean, she talked about
College professor. She was a college professor. Well, that's it. It's like Hillary Clinton. The most devastating question anyone could have asked Hillary Clinton in 2016 was, why are you running? Well, I want to be the first woman. Okay, but why are you running? Elizabeth Warren, like really the whole Democrat Party, the Democrat Party have no platform. They have no agenda. All they're running on is for personal advancement and Trump hatred. They have no issues.
no issues. They're making money on something because everything that they say, it's all on emotions.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
$15 an hour wage. It's all baloney.
Yes, baloney. $15 an hour minimum wage. I love these Democrats that run around and they talk about a $15 an hour minimum wage. How many of them have unpaid volunteers staffing their campaigns all over the country that earn $0 per hour? Yeah, you know what I mean? They're all a bunch of liars and hypocrites. Their campaigns are kind of businesses in a way. And the business model of their campaign wouldn't work if they had to pay people money. Certainly not $15 an hour. If $15 an hour is a fair minimum wage, why are they not paying their campaign volunteers $15 an hour, right? Steve Kane Show.
Ashley Jones
Hello?
crying.
Hey, hold on.
The main. She was all about Warren.
Yeah, who was that? I missed what you said. Who? Oh, Ashley Judd. I remember when Ashley Judd was good looking.
Yeah, she's had a lot of Botox or something. I don't know why.
She doesn't look good anymore.
In her 40s. I think she's like our age. I mean,
yeah, the first time I saw Ashley Judd, she was on an episode of Star Trek: The Next Generation. It was an episode called The Game, and she was an ensign who was a girlfriend of young Wesley Crusher. And I thought, wow, she's pretty good looking to be on Star Trek.
The VR game.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, that's right. The game, the VR game. Yeah, that's right. You know the episode. All right, Mike, take care. Thanks for the call. All right, let's take another call. Good morning. You're on the radio.
Hey, Ryan, yeah, she does have a daughter. In fact, she got her daughter a job at the college she worked at. It was a art project or something, and they paid her daughter 3 times more than they paid any instructor, and the college had to actually shut down after.
Really? Oh, my goodness. So there's scandal. She has one child? Oh, she has one kid, just the daughter? You don't know? Yeah, when that's it. So the only things we really know about Elizabeth Warren are all scandal. A corrupt deal for her kid, the fake Indian scandal. We don't know anything about her. There's not one the fake.
Guy got fired because I was pregnant.
Well, yeah. Yeah, there's nothing about her that we know that is a positive. It's all negative. It's all fraud. And I don't say that because I don't like Elizabeth Warren. There's not one redeeming quality about her. It's pretty sad. Why was her daughter not with her on the driveway with the fake tears yesterday?
No.
Yeah, that's exactly right. All right, appreciate the info. So we got some more information on Elizabeth Warren. She was involved in some type of college scandal with her daughter, according to that last caller. All right, listen, we'll take our break. My name's Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977. That's right. We'll take our break and be back. Don't you go anywhere.
Dr. Matez, we talk about charisma. Hormone replacement pellet therapy brings back a lot of things in people, and one of the things I think it brings back is charisma, because I've met many listeners that are patients of Dr. Matez that I've met before they were patients of Dr. Matez, and I notice a big difference. And one thing I notice is a lot of confidence in guys after they start hormone replacement pellet therapy.
I agree with you 100%, Brad.
Yeah,
Get your mojo back. It's really
Yeah.
what
It
it is.
changes your life. It changes the way you view the world. You know how I put it once? This was years and years ago. Looking at the world after having the hormone therapy, and you look at the world, and the world is like a technicolor. And when you give up the hormone therapy, it's like watching the world in black and white. It's just an amazing difference. Life
That's
is
a
fuller,
fantastic analogy.
isn't it?
It
And
is.
it's true. That's a big difference.
It is. As we get older, we both physically and mentally break down, and we tend to get into a very black and white type of existence. A lot of people, everybody's different, but when you get your hormone levels back and you get that vigor back, you
Oh, it's
feel
the best.
good. Suddenly things are very bright and colorful.
and I experience this myself, and I see it on listeners, is I'll see a guy, and he's like, and then I'll see him after he has become a patient of yours, and with hormone replacement pellet therapy, he seems like he's standing up strong,
10 feet
confident,
tall.
10 feet tall. What is
Steve
it
Kane
about
Show.
hormone replacement pellet therapy that
Steve
does
Kane
that
Show.
to guys?
I believe it's because you're putting God's nectar back into the body, basically.
That's-
God gave
that's
us
accurate.
testosterone in particular to give us energy and strength and endurance and muscle mass. It's what makes not just men, it's what makes people. And a lack of it takes all of those things away from you.
We'll meet with Steve Kane listeners at no charge.
Always.
What is the number they can call to make that appointment?
561-953-5490. 561-953-5490.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search.
All right, we are back. I'm Brian Craig. The major technical snafu, it's amazing that I could do this. I actually fixed it while I was talking to the last caller before the break. You guys didn't even know it. If you guys only knew everything I have to do while I'm on the air, it's so distracting. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. You are listening to the longest-running radio show in the state of Florida, the Steve Kane Radio Show, on the radio since 1977. If you're new to the program, welcome. Welcome. We are live Monday through Friday from 6 until 9 a.m. weekday mornings, overnight rebroadcast 7 nights a week from midnight till 6 a.m. And here in Florida, we actually broadcast on 4 radio stations, 3 FMs, and one AM station. You can listen to us Monday through Friday, midnight until 9 a.m., and weekends, midnight till 6 a.m. Eastern Time on AM 1470, 103.9 FM, 96.9 FM, and 95.3 on your FM dial. The Steve Kane Show. That's right, we're on all the time. We are on over 1,200 hours a month, and that's just our radio stations. That's not including all the apps and everything. So it's absolutely amazing. All right, Richie the bus driver, you're on the radio. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. Just the topic I wanted to talk about, what you're talking about this morning. She happens to be a total fool, crazy-looking maniac lady that was running for president.
You're talking about Elizabeth Warren.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
Fact of the matter is, this is what's happened to this country, and this is why this country's on the fritz. Your news media, your Democratic Party have broken everybody up into individual groups. Everybody, in other words, years ago, it was from the neck to the top of your head is what got you jobs and got you through things. Now it's what's between your legs. I hate to say it just like that. And it's kind of sick, okay? The most qualified people don't get jobs anymore. Everyone is broken down into groups, you know, and it's terrible to do that. I mean, you should get the most qualified people for the job. Nancy Pelosi, what does that tell you? Is it because she's a woman, or is it because she's a nasty, rotten person?
No, Nancy Pelosi became Speaker first time because she was a leader with fundraising among Democrats in the House. That's what got her that. It was kind of like bought by the donors, you know. And I guess she's still got a lot of juice with that.
Woman, everything is woman this and gay this and.
You know, I think pretty much all the first have been done now. I mean, they're trying too hard with. Well, you know, this is the deal. When Obama became president and was the first black president of the United States and first black person that was leader of a major nation, what the Democrats thought is they thought they were going to be in power for the next 40 years, and they were going to alternate presidents, right, with different groups. We have our black president. This time in 2016, it's going to be a woman, Hillary Clinton. Then we're going to have a Latina, and then we'll have a black woman, and then we're going to have a gay, and then they thought they were going to rotate it among minority groups for the next 40 years, and they're in shock that a white guy won it, and now it's all white guys running. If the Democrat Party was really a PC party about diversity, they wouldn't have two old white men running for the nomination.
Diversity has ruined this country.
Well, I don't know about that. What do you mean? It's hold on a second here. How has diversity? Hold on. Oh, slow down. How has diversity? Slow down, Richie. How has diversity ruined the country?
Because they've gone into different groups. Instead of saying, we're all Americans, the most qualified people get the jobs. I could care less whether Obama was black or purple.
Oh.
Because he was black and they made it.
Well, if he were purple, that might mean some type of medical condition we should be concerned about, you know, because there aren't purple people. But, you know, I think you're not using your words very well there. It's not diversity isn't the problem, because when you have more people available in a pool of people, you're going to get more skills and brain power and things. But what happens is they don't look for the best of the best. They're looking. That's right. That's right. They're looking for the best woman, the best gay, the best Latina, and that's when you run into trouble. And you find incompetence.
Government is always. It started out with where I work. My God, they started promoting people that weren't qualified because of their race or you know, and it creates hostility because people start looking and they start saying, how could she get this job? She's only been working here 2 years and she's a woman, and I've been here 10 years. And I qualify for the job, but she gets it because she's a woman. This is where they go wrong. I'm sorry.
Well, there's a lot of other factors. There was Elizabeth Warren is where she is because she played the political game. Remember, she used to be a Republican. She became a Democrat. She became a Democrat because she thought that was her way in. She's not in the Senate because she's a woman. She's a political animal. And when someone's a political animal, that is not attractive to people in a female, right? it's attractive to people in a man like Trump. When someone's like a business guy or a politician, and they're cutthroat and do what they got to do to get things done, people respect that in a man. But in a woman, it's not a positive quality. That's why I say Nancy Pelosi's right to a certain extent about why there's not a woman running.
Well, listen. I can't say that the two men that are running for the Democratic Party are very qualified. With all the people we have in this country, and the Democrats can't put up two decent candidates to fight each other, it's pretty sad.
Well, part of it is, listen, Kamala Harris. Remember when Kamala Harris was the it girl for a week, right? We found out she got her first state-level position in California because she was having an affair with Willie Brown, who was very prominent mayor of San Francisco back in the day. So women, they use sexuality and other things to get advancement, and that turns people off. People don't like that.
Just say this, and I think it's going to hit home with you. A guy, say, who has 5 children, married, and living in a little house somewhere, goes into work and they tell him it's his last day at a job. He doesn't have a job. Now, he's got all this responsibility. He has to come home and tell his wife he just lost his job, and what are they going to do to feed the kids, okay, and keep the house? Him I could see with tears, but her coming out of that fancy...
Oh, I know.
She lives.
Yeah.
I didn't make it.
Fake, yeah. Well, and the thing about that, when she was crying with the fake Trail of Tears, and I just noticed Drudge is using Trail of Tears. I'm glad someone's using that. With those crocodile tears yesterday, she was crying for herself. The fake tears were for herself. Yeah.
I have no sympathy for her.
No.
Who is she?
Yeah.
Spoon? Listen, I'm sorry to say it. In the news, right away, they point out, look at the Republicans, all white men, everything.
That's right.
What's happening to this?
Yeah, that's right. All right, Richie the bus driver, thanks for the call. You're on the radio. Good morning.
Hey, how you doing, Brian? Good morning.
Hey.
I don't know how you put up with your buddy Richie the Tooth. I think we're going to have to rename him Richie the Racist. You catch him every day. You got to pull the rings in on him. There's 5 different type of racist people. He's what you call the unconscious racist. Oh, he doesn't know he's racist. And you catch him every day. You pull his chain, and you got to correct him. He doesn't even need... He does.
No, well, most racists don't view themselves as racist, okay? Most racists just think that they have that view on reality. Listen, Richie is not a racist. I've known racist, okay? I've known racist. And I've known real racist. Disagreeing with someone politically is not racist. He doesn't like the idea of affirmative action in today's society. And as a career public servant, as a bus, I used to ride Richie's bus when I was a kid before I had a car here in Broward County. I remember Rich. People, how do you remember Richie? Because he always had a big mouth. That's how I remember Richie. But the thing with Richie is, he was a public servant where affirmative action was brought in, and a lot of white guys in the bus driving business had difficulties in the 70s, in the 80s, in the 90s when he was working because of affirmative action. And he's not a racist. You don't even know what a racist is if you think he's a racist. He's opposed to a lot of liberal policies involving race and gender. But now homophobe, he doesn't care for the gays. I'll give you that. But he's not a racist. I've seen him associate with African Americans. Your mic wasn't muted once. I didn't have my hands on my lap. You weren't muted. You were just sitting there in silent. Excuse me, it's a conversation. It's a conversation. And you made a serious charge against someone, calling them a racist, and you make a serious charge like that. I'm not going to let that fly.
Last week, this wannabe soprano, who you give a plug about your his teeth on your dental commercial. Oh, I can't eat my spaghetti. This guy's an idiot. He gets on there and he says, oh, I'm Jewish, so I can start making anti-Semitic comments. And you cut him right off. He's getting ready to make a comment about, when you guys are talking about that, what's his name, who just went to prison. What's his name? Was it Weinstein?
Yeah, Harvey Weinstein.
Yeah, you guys were talking about him last week.
Yeah.
He wants to change his tune. Oh, I'm Jewish. And then he gets ready to go on this Jewish rant about, their money and controlling Hollywood. And
Well, he is a Jew. He is a Jew. I don't remember that. I don't remember. I don't know. Yeah.
he's Jew. But I'm going to tell you like this. He's an unconscious racist.
Uh-huh.
Says, you know what happens when those people move to...
Okay. All right, now let's slow down a little bit. Let me slow down a little bit. Now slow down a little. You make a lot of charges here. Let's excuse me. Let's find out if you walk the walk. Are you married with kids? Now, don't tell me anything. You're sitting here making charges about everyone. I want to ask you a couple questions, and let's find out if you walk the walk. Are you a married man with kids?
You have been pimping your daughter's color all week about this Candace Owens nonsense.
Let me tell you something here. I'm living Martin Luther King's dream. I'm trying to find out if you are. I live the dream of a colorblind society. You, on the other hand, well, you don't want to tell us anything. Okay? Are you married with kids, yes or no? All right, I'm going to end the call now. It's time for a break. It's 35 minutes after the hour, but you're not going to make charges against me and Richie, and I just let you go on for 5 or 6 minutes, and then I ask you one thing about yourself, and you divert. So, let's call it a conversation. All right, 35 minutes after the hour. I'm Brian Craig. This is the Steve KANE Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977. That's right. We're going to be right back. Don't you go anywhere.
It's time for our health report with Richard Pearl from Simply Natural.
Hey, guys.
Sunrise.
Well, I thought I'd talk about something that really is personally important. My dad died on about 15 years ago this month for neurological reasons. He had Alzheimer's. And the reason I'm bringing it up is, with all the politics that are going on, I watched Joe Biden, and I see that he's got early signs of dementia. And actually not that early, but early enough. And there are certain things that can be done to help the brain. And after my dad died...
Well, I had to take a break. Hey, Patrick.
I reformulated...
You want me to tell you guys what I was going to ask? I'll tell you guys what I was going to go with that. Because when I ask someone a question, I'm 12... Yeah, of course you can call in, Neil. I'm 20 steps ahead. I'm like Trump, right? I asked him if he had wife and kids. Wanted to find out if he's got, I was going to ask him when is the last time he had someone who was white over to his home for dinner or for football or basketball. Steve KANE Show. No problem. Take care. That was Richie calling to say thank you for defending him. So, and of course it'll be never. And he would probably try to lie. But I'd get that out. But that's where I was going to go. And you'd find out that he lives, all of his connections in his personal life are black. He lives in a segregated world. But he wants to call everyone else a racist. You know what I mean? That's where I was going with that. I don't want to give the whole questions that I was going to ask him to pull it out of him, because if he's watching, I don't want to tip him off. But I was getting ready to go for my interrogation.
So it helps with memory, which is key.
It's incredible for memory structurally. So as we age, our cells don't work as well, and one of the problems that we have is that we have a problem with short-term memory because
Steve KANE Show.
Acetylcholine, and this product helps.
Hey, Neil, hold on.
It also allows for,
oh my goodness, Neil calling from Northern Ireland.
Function properly. So what I found was that, and getting both hemispheres to work, et cetera. So I made this formula because of my dad. And it was a legacy project.
I might have some updates on Todd today, because I'm going to check in a little bit later when Steve gets here. But he did have a surgery yesterday, Todd. They actually did surgery, some type of hip surgery, probably from some broken bones during the accident. So, but if I get any updates, I'll let you guys know. It's terrible. I tell you, a weird thing about it with Todd is I hadn't talked to him in a couple weeks, and day before yesterday, when I was driving home from work, and for some reason, his name popped in my head, and I was, you know, it was odd. I was just thinking about him for a second, and then later in the day, I found out about what had happened, and then I told my daughter because she knows him from the cruises, and I told her about, and she said she was just thinking about him earlier that day too. Isn't that crazy? Well, that's why I told everybody, because you get, you know, the more people praying, the better.
Open till 9 p.m. 7 days a week, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. 954-741-4045.
A friend of ours, Todd, good friend of Steve's, good friend of mine, he goes on our cruises, was in a severe car accident this week. That's something.
Richard Pearl from Simply Natural just joining us here this week on the Steve Kane Show. But we go way back, many, many years with Richard Pearl and Simply Natural. All right, Richard Pearl, we will talk tomorrow.
All right, thanks for having me on. I appreciate you guys.
Well, thank you. We appreciate you. And give him a call about that memory supplement.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel
Well, thank you,
Law Group.
Jonathan.
Avoid probate with irrevocable
Not those symbolic
arrangements.
prayers that Pelosi talks about with
$350
Trump, you know what I mean?
$450 for married couples. When you complete your trust with attorney Barry
Yeah.
Siegel, he will give you a $100 gift certificate to Tavolino Italian Restaurant in Coral Springs. Call the Siegel Law Group with 9 offices in South Florida, including downtown Fort Lauderdale, Coral Gables, and downtown Miami. 1-855-FLA-3782.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio.
All right. Welcome back. I'm Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest running radio show. Oh, this is exciting. On the line, we have Neil from the UK, and this is the first time we have talked to Neil since UK Independence Day with Brexit. How's it feel to be free of that European Union, Neil?
How you doing, Brian? Yeah, absolutely awesome. Absolutely awesome. A few people over here, you know, got completely triggered and
Oh, yeah.
absolutely awesome.
Yeah, that's great. Are those EU flags all taken down from the flagpoles around your Parliament building?
Yeah, well, there's a couple of fun videos actually. Some
Yeah.
of the Remainers, call them, were a little bit
Remainers.
back when the actual flag started coming down.
Oh.
Your Jack started coming.
Oh, man. That's awesome. That's awesome. That's awesome. Free. So what's on your mind, Neil?
Yeah, no, I just wanted to make a couple of comments with reference to that last caller just now. Now, here's something that gets on my nerves time and time again, Brian, right? People like the last caller just now, without any facts or any actual evidence of such, labeling somebody like Ricky the bus driver a racist. Now, people like the last caller there, these are the people, in my eyes, that can be deemed as a racist, because people like the last caller will identify people between colour and what their backgrounds are.
Yeah,
now,
Neil's
I've
awesome.
listened to Richard the bus driver many, many times on your show. Don't think he's ever said anything to lead down the roads of being labelled a racist like the last.
Of course not.
What the last caller just did was actually identify himself as a racist, because he sees some sort of card division and has to go down the avenue of racist. And, you know, I've experienced this myself. Because I wear a Trump hat to my workplace, I've been labelled a racist. Not based on anything I've said, not based on me demeanoring anybody of any different colour or any religion, anything like that, purely just because the person in front of me has been triggered by an object and wants to go down the road of racism. And that is exactly what that last caller just did. Now, whether that last caller has a lack of facts, or is just triggered, or is just anti-Trump, or whatever he may be, a snowflake liberal, he, like many, many others, have gone down this road of trying racist without any facts.
Well, you know, this is the thing. You know, that's one thing I don't put up with, and I'll tell you why. You know, racism is a pretty serious thing. I've seen it. I've known racist, and a real racist does something. I bet you Richie, when Richie was a bus driver here in South Florida, he drove through some pretty shady parts of town. I promise you, over the years, he let so many black people ride that bus for free that didn't have money, for the transfer or the bus fare. A racist wouldn't do something like that. I've never heard him say a negative, I've never heard him use a negative racial slur, even when he's been drinking. I've seen him associate with black people. It's ridiculous. But you know what it is with minorities, oftentimes on the left? The left is a losing argument. No matter whether you're in the UK or in America, if you're a liberal, it's pretty hard to defend your position. So what minority liberals do is they play the race card, the gender card, the religious card, whatever they can do to try to discount you. And I just don't let that fly. Racism's a serious thing, and I don't like to trivialize it. It's like people calling everyone Nazis all the time. I don't like that either.
Yeah, and the thing is a lot of the people from different minority backgrounds, they're being used for this triggerism. I the Democrats play on this. They will put these words out there. People are racist because they don't want, violent immigrants in their countries, or, people are racist because of, this reason and that reason. And unfortunately, there are people from different backgrounds, different religions, different races, actually falling for this. And even in a small number, don't get me wrong, because obviously, as you've seen, with Trump in 2016, the black communities are more and more and more growing in numbers. In fact, Trump, why? Because they're not falling for this.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Now, Neil is in Northern Ireland. When we first met Neil, he was in London, and Neil does a lot of live streaming. He talks about the politics, talks about the issues, and it's always good. It's always heat. Even when you don't know, I'm watching. I'm watching you a lot of times on Twitter, and you don't know I'm in the room, Neil. How can people find your live streams online to watch you? What's the best?
Get me on Periscope, YouTube, and DLive, which is a very good app, and just everything across the board at UK Neil. You can get me at UK Neil across the board, Periscope, YouTube, DLive.
Yeah, UK Neil, and that of course is for United Kingdom. UK Neil. All right, Neil, take care, and it's good to talk to you. Been a while. All right, take care. Take care. All right. Yeah. All right, 46 minutes after the hour. Let's take our last break of the first hour, and we'll be back. Don't go anywhere.
This is Brian Craig. I've been telling you
Neil's
about
awesome.
the great deals and incredible customer service at Friendly Tire on both new tires and used tires. One of our listeners, Antonio, went to Friendly Tire and called to share with us his experience of buying used tires at Friendly Tire in Margate.
Good morning. You're on the radio.
Hey, yes, Brian, I want to give you a quick testimony about the tire place up in Margate, Friendly Tire. Friendly Tire is everything you said it would be, man. I went up there and got me some used tires, and when I went up there, man, he was very courteous. My whole family's going for that, man. Everything you said it was going to be, man. I appreciate you for that, man. And Mike's a great guy, man.
Well, what's your name?
Antonio.
All right, Antonio. Hey, I'm glad we could save you and your family lots of money on tires at Friendly Tire.
Oh, no doubt, man. Thanks so much, man.
Neil's awesome. You guys all follow Neil.
Friendly Tire and find incredible deals on both new and used tires. Give Friendly Mike a call right now. 954-977-9445.
There he is.
954-977-9445. And Mike will give you a quote right over the phone. 954-977-9445 for Friendly Tire in Margate.
95.3 FM, 96.9 FM, 103.9 FM, and AM 1470.
NEIL.
WNN Pompano Beach is the
NEIL.
Florida Money Talk Network.
So you've been
Yeah, he does a lot of live streams, and he has like guests on his live streams and everything.
If you go to your doctor's office or one of the big labs, it can cost you hundreds of dollars. Sometimes I haven't had lab tests because of the cost. Then I discovered Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs. Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs' goal is to get you all the lab tests you need, save you money, and get you in and out in 15 minutes or less. At Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs, you never need an appointment, no doctor's order.
Man, I remember back in the old days, calling Europe, to America was like a big deal. Long distance.
Give them a call, 954-906-5983. 954-906-5983. Any lab test now of Coral Springs is located on the southeast corner of University and Ramblewood near the Coral Square Mall. Any lab test now of Coral Springs. Private and affordable lab testing. 954.
I go to Line and Eagle on occasion. I've been going there for years. Line and Eagle on Federal Highway. Yeah. Welcome back, everyone. And of course, this week we have welcomed Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs and Any Lab Test Now of Boca as advertisers on the Steve Kane Show. And there are a lot of Any Lab Test Nows, but the two locations that are advertising on the Steve Kane Show are Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs and Any Lab Test Now of Boca. So when you hear us talk about the incredible low prices, those are the locations to get them. And if you want to support this show, which I know you do, Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs and Any Lab Test Now of Boca Raton, those are the locations that are advertising here on the Steve Kane Show. And they do guarantee the lowest prices on all of their thousands of lab tests. I'm going in next week for some testing. In fact, I've got a list of their tests here, and I saw another test I'm going to have done. But, you know, at Any Lab Tests Now of Coral Springs and of Boca Raton, it's the same owners for both locations, by the way. That's why they're both with us. The Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs location is located over by the Coral Square Mall here in Coral Springs on the southeast corner of University Drive in Ramblewood. And Any Lab Test Now of Boca Raton is located in the Western Beef Shopping Center on 441 in Boca. And no appointment necessary, no doctor's order, no prescription, no appointment. Just walk right in. You'll be out in 15 minutes or less, and you can get any of their thousands of lab tests done, and they do guarantee the lowest price on all of their lab tests. If you're going in for a drug or STD test, okay, and you walk in, and because sometimes I tell you, people are uncomfortable about things like this. I understand this. Ask the girl at the counter, say, hey, listen, I'd like to have a private consultation, and they'll take you in to one of the rooms. You have a private conversation, and then you can tell them there. Because I know there might be people in the waiting room, people around. You don't want people to hear that you're getting an STD or drug test. So just say you'd like to have a private conversation. They'll do that for you. Both locations' phone numbers and addresses are listed at stevekaneshow.com. Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs, give them a call. This is a brand new location. Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs, that location over on University in Ramblewood near the Coral Square Mall, just opened in January. It's a brand new location. 954-906-5983. 954-906-5983. Any Lab Test Now of Boca in the Western Beef Sandalfoot Plaza. That number, 561-237-5009. 561-237-5009 if you have any questions. You know, you want to talk about discrimination. This story here, the Bojangles locked out a Trump group after a rally. I thought Bojangles was out of business. There used to be a lot of controversy about Bojangles. It was racist, and well, now they're finding other ways to discriminate. Listen to this. Crazy stories here. I tell you, the way that the left operate, listen to this. A Bojangles shift manager who locked the doors of a restaurant in Charlotte Monday following President Donald Trump's nearby rally is no longer employed. And the chain has apologized to Trump supporters who were denied food. In a separate incident developing late Wednesday, Bojangles was blasted on social media over a photograph of an anti-Trump sign that was taped to the door of another Bojangles in North Carolina. Bojangles officials say the sign was unauthorized, was not posted by any of its workers, and appears to have been quickly removed after employees noticed a customer or passerby had put it there. The Charlotte Observer first reported on the lockout Tuesday after photos surfaced showing Trump supporters standing outside of the fast food restaurant, apparently not allowed in. Trump held a Keep America Great rally Monday night, just a short walk from the restaurant, at Charlotte's Bojangles Coliseum. You know, when you look at this incident, this is a form of segregation, political segregation. You know, that caller earlier that UK Neil was talking about racism and discrimination. When you talk about segregation and discrimination in this country, it has always been by the left, by the Democrats. These are, I promise you, the shift manager of Bojangles, Democrat. Probably a minority, too. Democrat. Promise you a liberal. Just like in the days of segregation. And and of course, every black man lynched in America was lynched by a Democrat. And every black man lynched in America was a Republican. Don't forget that. That was a Republican vote suppression movement, the Democrat lynching. Remember, the original Democrat community activist organization was the Ku Klux Klan. And even still today, they're the ones doing this discrimination. Neil was talking about people being triggered in the UK with his Trump hat over there in Northern Ireland. Isn't it nice they have peace over there? I remember as a kid, there was always something blowing up in Northern Ireland. Now it's beautiful. I watched Neil's photographs over there. Oh, my goodness. The left are always the ones that are triggered, whether it's Bernie Sanders supporter who shot Steve Scalise, whether it's Rand Paul being beaten by a Democrat in his lawn. It's all in these incidents that you hear of minorities attacked by MAGA people always turn out to be fake. Not just Jussie Smollett in Chicago, but there was an incident in New York where a girl had claimed she was attacked at a subway station. Remember this? All fake. All the stories of discrimination, of violence, it's always the left against the right. Always. When do you see Republicans attacking liberals? Never. Conservatives are very restrained. You know why? Because conservatives are law and order, rules-obeying people. The left are a mob. That's all they are. They're just a damn mob. But what I was talking about at the beginning of the show about Elizabeth Warren, what does she stand for? And you don't know. The Democrat Party today stands for nothing. Nothing. Okay? They have no platform. They have no agenda. And no one is... I was still listening today when I was up early doing my show prep. I got the news on in the background, and they're talking about how the youth didn't show up for Bernie. The youth aren't motivated to vote. Not true. Not true. And I haven't heard any of the pundits pick up on this. The youth vote is going for Trump. The youth vote is going for Trump. Okay? And I was talking, there are, not all young people are millennials. Millennials are about 29 to 39 now. Okay, 29 to 39. Younger than that, when the college age, there's some in the mid-20s, but the college age crowd, they call that Generation Z. Generation Z, the 21, 22-year-olds and younger, that's called Generation Z. I don't know what all these things are about and how they characterize these things. But Generation Z, which is the generation Buttigieg and AOC are millennials, okay? They're not the youth, right? They're not the youth. She's 30 and he's in his late 30s. The youth college-age voter, Generation Z, and among generations, and I know this because of my daughter and her friends, Generation Z, yeah, the TikTok generation, are rejecting pretty much everything millennials stand for. Total rejection of what millennials stand for. And it's not that the youth vote has gotten lazy. They're just waiting for Trump. And you're going to find a massive turnout of the youth. When I say the youth vote, I'm talking about college age. Not college students, college age. It's going to go for Trump for a whole lot of reasons. Okay? And the Democrats have always thought they had a lock on the youth vote. And now it kind of makes sense because Bernie Sanders has been promoted as this old hipster, kind of like George Burns used to be in the 80s when he had the old God movies out, He was like some old hipster that was 80 years old, right? And they're kind of doing a thing like that with Bernie Sanders. He's not all that much of a hipster with the young people, is he? Or the youth vote would have turned out en masse for him, and they didn't. It's been an illusion. Probably in large part due to the venues. They've had a lot of Bernie Sanders events at colleges. So who's going to attend those events are college students. So there's been a false impression given of his support among the youth. But not only is the black vote going heavily for Donald Trump in this election, the Hispanic vote and the female vote, but it's going to be a huge amount of the youth vote. And Donald Trump may win more of the youth vote than any Republican has won in, I would go back to Eisenhower, because Eisenhower had the World War II hero status that got him a lot of demographics that Republicans haven't seen since him. All right, let's take our break for the top of the hour. My name is Brian Craig. You are listening to the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. On the radio since 1977. Our number is a toll-free call from anywhere, 1-888-GO-KANE-1, 888-465-2631. Good morning. Yes. Oh, Sarah in Colorado. How you doing, Sarah?
Good. How are you?
Doing all right.
Hey, well, we were talking about the TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
I put that up. TikTok is becoming, I would say the youth is more and more growing there. I mean, the videos that are coming out that I've seen with the kids, there's all kinds of, like, college, high school, and they're all going home. I mean, it's
Really, TikTok is, now TikTok, I'll tell you, in Florida, last week, they had a video streamer convention. It's called Playlist Live in Orlando, Florida. And typically, it is YouTube. And I didn't go to it, but I was watching some YouTube videos about it. It was taken over by TikTok people. And the TikTok people are young. I mean, really young. I mean, middle school and above. And you're telling me that TikTok is pro-Trump.
Yeah, I would say because, like, there's one guy.
I know they say that, don't they?
Now following, and the guy, young college student, but he's making these videos about Bernie Sanders, and it's hilarious.
Well, why do you think these young TikTokers love Trump?
Well, because I think, well, there's several of them. Like, I follow this one high schooler, and he gives facts. He gives facts out, and
Yeah.
researches and all kinds of stuff. And they're just, I think they're fed up. They think there's no way that you can have free stuff. How do you pay for it?
It's absolutely amazing, and and that's that Generation Z I'm talking about. Remember, there's the millennials, which is AOC and Buttigieg, and then there's the TikTok generation or Generation Z. I don't know what it stands for. I don't know, but I guess millennials are Y, and then you got Z because I was X. I don't know, but there is a major rejection of the millennial agenda of communism, which is what AOC is about.
Yeah, and I would say, it's not just in that I've been following, like the TikTok, maybe YouTube, several platforms. I mean, I believe that from college down to high school and all the way to there, I have a feeling that they are starting to wait because they sit there and they don't know how they're going to pay for it. How do they?
Well, also there's a lot of things too where they, this race card and everything is played all the time, And the generation that you're talking about, the TikTok generation, they were born when, and their only presidents have been, in their memory, have been Obama and Trump. And all this racial gender thing that the politicians play and the media play, it's not their reality. They've never seen it nor experienced gender discrimination or racial discrimination. They're in it's a post-racial, post-gender discrimination generation. So these old things that the media and the Democrats are talking about are meaningless to them. It's 100 years ago.
Exactly, and there's just it's really nice to see that there are kids that are standing up, and there are some that are standing up even more.
Mm-hmm.
By the school, they had to take their Trump flags down.
I saw that.
No.
Yeah, the future farmers.
Their tractors,
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I never heard of someone being told they couldn't fly Obama memorabilia at their high school. I never heard that. Listen, I got to run, Sarah, but thanks for the call. Sarah in Colorado, who went with us on the cruise. She's going with us on the next one. 3 minutes after 7 o'clock in the morning, 1 hour and 3 minutes down. And we have 1 hour and 56 minutes to go. I'm Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest running radio show on the radio since 1977. We'll be right back.
3 FM, 96.9 FM, 103.9 FM, and AM 1470. WWNN Pompano Beach is the Florida Money Talk Network.
Hey, guys.
You've heard Steve Kane talk about the great work and the incredible prices.
Yes, Sarah. My wife and I went out to dinner with Sarah when she was in town last. She came back in town since the cruise.
Good morning.
She came back in town for another cruise.
Because your sponsor is.
I am. What am I right about, Freddie?
My tooth, I fractured it and it went backwards in my mouth.
Oh my
front top tooth. I put it back into the socket.
Be right back. Be right back.
I couldn't even eat spaghetti, and I was going to a wedding in New York 2 days later, and I said, "What am I going to do?" You know. And the dentist here wanted to charge me $120 just to look at it and to tell me he couldn't do anything. I went to Dr. Gupta at Brighton Dental. I traveled 139 miles. I would do it again in a heartbeat, each way. Okay, the man sat and worked on my tooth for 2 hours, put a pin in it, put it back in place. I could eat anything I want. He said it was temporary. He did such a great job. It feels like permanent. I have no pain. I can eat anything I want now. And the fact of the matter, this is what really was unbelievable. I was getting on the bus to go to the
Oh, yeah, I got a good thing here. Hold on.
In New York City. He knew I was in New York. The phone rings. Who do you think's on the line?
Dr. Gupta.
Right. He wants to see if everything is going okay and if I'm in any pain. The guy is unbelievably wonderful. I mean, thank you so much. I wouldn't have been able to eat. I wouldn't have been able to go. I would have looked like a pumpkin.
Everybody needs a great dentist, and of course, for you Steve Kane listeners, you have one, Dr. Gupta, and he's been over there at Brighton Dental. He takes really good care of you. He's very conscientious. Dentistry is an art when you stop and you think about it. And Dr. Gupta certainly is an artist, and we're so pleased to have him with us.
Yeah, I just wanted them to know if you need a dentist, and the guy is so good at what he does, he's so gentle, and I mean, I don't like dentists. This guy is this tough show, and I'm going down to him to get it permanently put in, but right now, I don't have any pain. I can eat anything I want. Incredible.
Take Richie the bus driver's advice and go see Dr. Gupta at Brighton Dental. Call 954-922-4633.
Make sure you subscribe if you're not.
4633.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Avoid probate with a revocable living trust.
Oh, really?
$350 for single people.
Yeah, I've got TikTok on my phone. I've got a TikTok account, but I don't use it.
He will give you a $100 gift certificate to Tavolino.
I gotta start using TikTok.
Coral Springs.
I can't make a video that short.
With 9 offices in South Florida, including downtown Fort Lauderdale, Coral Gables, and downtown Miami.
Oh, wow.
1-855-FLA-3782.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for W.
Oh, yeah, welcome back. And, any lab tests now of Coral Springs and Boca, I forgot to mention this in the last hour, our new sponsors, any lab tests now of Coral Springs and any lab tests now of Boca are open on Saturdays. So if you have some blood work that you need to have done that is fasting and it's hard for you during the week, I have that problem sometimes, head over there on the weekend. Both locations open on Saturday. Any lab test now of Coral Springs, any lab test now of Boca, open on Saturdays. Whoopi Goldberg in The View, I don't watch The View, okay? Sometimes I'll watch it because there's somebody on there I want to see interviewed, like Patrick Stewart was on a few weeks ago. I wanted to see that, But The View, I don't watch The View, and I don't think most people that talk about The View ever watch it. I think there's craziness that happens, and we'll watch a soundbite online of it. And it's very difficult for me. I don't like to criticize Whoopi Goldberg because before Whoopi Goldberg got on The View and got political, I always liked Whoopi Goldberg, not just because Whoopi was on Star Trek The Next Generation, and she's going to be on Star Trek Picard next season, but she was a good actress and very funny. She's an incredible actress. Whoopi Goldberg. She really is. Her and Oprah, Color Purple, oh man. And she was a very funny stand-up comic, Whoopi Goldberg. I remember her stand-up specials on television in the 80s and her comedic films before Ghost, you know. Was very funny, did great stand-up, and like everyone else that gets to The View is just a poison atmosphere. It's just a poisonous place. Oh, it's awful. And I'm reluctant to attack poor Whoopi Goldberg, because if I met Whoopi Goldberg, I would bond with her like that over my love of Star Trek. There's no question about it. I wouldn't talk to her about politics or the blackface with Ted Danson. You know, I love Whoopi Goldberg and would love an opportunity to meet her. But, boy, did she have a big screw-up this week. This was just so embarrassing for her. This was Wednesday. I had this clip yesterday, and I just didn't play it yesterday. But this was Wednesday, the day after Super Tuesday, and she was very excited that Joe Biden won on Super Tuesday and was the front runner. And she was talking about who she would like Joe Biden to make the Surgeon General of the United States. Someone, she says, is a very good doctor. Listen to this.
I'm hoping Dr. Jill becomes a Surgeon General. His wife.
Yeah,
Joe Biden's wife, because he would never do, but she's a hell of a doctor. She's an amazing doctor.
She's a doctor and PhD. Yeah,
I could be wrong.
She's a teacher, but you know.
Oh man, she's a very good doc. She's a doctor of English Lit, which is something that I just found out about months ago. You know, there is no doubt in my mind that the Obama administration and Joe Biden for many years was giving the impression that Biden's wife was a medical doctor when they were pushing their Obamacare garbage. How many of you thought in the past that she was like a medical doctor? I did. And Whoopi Goldberg, it's one thing if she would have said, maybe he'll nominate his wife as Surgeon General. But then she went in and said, she's a very good doctor. She's a very good doctor. Really? She's a doctor of English literature, Whoopi Goldberg. What an embarrassment. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. You know, and the panel of poisoned people, it's a coven over there on The View. They didn't even cover from her. They threw her right under the bus. And I would have said, oh, yeah, that'd be hilarious, Whoopi. Jill Biden as Surgeon General with her husband as the president, and moved on. But they all threw her under the bus. They didn't even try to cover for Whoopi. And poor Whoopi looked like, it's because she had it on. She's a very good doctor. That's what did her in.
I'm hoping Dr. Jill becomes a Surgeon General. His wife.
Yeah.
Joe Biden's wife, because he would never do, but she's a hell of a doctor. She's an amazing doctor.
She's a doctor and PhD. Yeah,
I could be wrong.
Oh my goodness, she's a hell of a doctor. She's an amazing doctor. Oh my goodness, how embarrassing. Yeah, I know it's embarrassing. That must have been one of the live episodes. They're live Monday through Thursday, typically taped on Friday. So that must have been a live episode, because if that was taped, I think Whoopi would have edited that out. She goes on with this great endorsement of her. There's a story I was reading. This is a very dangerous thing that's going on, and most people won't realize it's a dangerous thing. In Delaware, they have new voting machines. Okay, listen to this. Delaware's new voting machines have their statewide debut this year. The biggest change, a paper trail. Everyone wants to be sure their vote is accurately counted, said the Commissioner of Elections for Delaware. And the new machines in Delaware, which have been used already in some city elections, will include a paper ballot. Okay, the paper ballot has no identifiable information, which keeps your voting choices private, and it goes on and on. The thing about voting machines and paper ballots and everything, the best form of voting is not paper ballots. The best form of voting in America is electronic voting. Okay? Paper ballots are bad news. And the reason, I'll tell you, a Democrat told Steve and I once, we had after the 2000 recount, there was all, with the hanging chads and all of that. There was a big push by the media and Democrats to do away with paper ballots. And for 1 or 2 elections, we had electronic voting. No ballot. It was a touch screen. And then they disappeared. And a Democrat told Steve and I off the record that they didn't like the electronic voting because they couldn't cheat with the electronic voting. With paper ballots, you could cheat. You could mark them up. You could add ballots. You can do all these things. And they didn't like the electronic voting machines because they're too accurate. That's what they told us. It was off the record and off the air. But yeah, I've referenced that off the record comment without telling you who said it many times over the years. Electronic voting is the most accurate of all. And Delaware's a tiny state and all, but anytime you hear about someone moving away from electronic voting to paper ballots, that's a place where Democrats are making a move into the vote fraud operation. Paper ballots are the least accurate of all. You want electronic voting. Electronic voting. Democrats don't like it because it's so accurate. Can't monkey around with those outcomes so easily without a big old hack, and that's a little difficult to do. Paper ballots, you hear stories all the time of them finding ballots here and finding ballots there, and all of a sudden these were not counted. Oh, these absentee ballots that were at the back of the, seat of the trunk or whatever, we've got to count these absentees just came in. Then they count the paper ballots, man. That's how they do the fraud. Another thing you don't want with electronic voting, when electronic voting came in, then when the Democrats realized that they got what they wanted, electronic voting, then they didn't like it at first. They said, well, no, you need a receipt so you know that your vote went through. And the way electronic voting worked, it was really nice. I liked it. It was totally touch screen. And at the end, it would show you your votes and how you voted. And you had to verify that all of the things that you voted for were accurate on the screen, and then you would submit your ballot. So, when you touched the screen, it didn't automatically vote. You had to confirm your choice. So it was accurate. So then the Democrats wanted receipts. Oh no, this electronic voting, we've been asking for it, we got it, but it's not good enough. We want a receipt. You don't want a receipt. You don't want a receipt either. The reason, why do you think Democrats want receipts when people vote electronically? They still do electronic voting in some places. Why do you think they want receipts? It's pretty sad. I'm not going to troll for calls on it. The reason Democrats want receipts on electronic balloting is so that the union bosses and the party bosses can be outside checking your receipt to make sure you voted right. So if you are some union guy or some Democrat and you decide you want to vote Republican, if you come, can you imagine you're some union guy, you come out with your receipt and you voted for a Republican, he checks your receipt? So electronic voting is the most accurate, and never, never, never do you want a receipt, because the receipt is how the machine makes sure that everyone votes right. Could you imagine, especially in some of these black neighborhoods, like in Philadelphia, remember the Black Panther with the Billy Club out in front of the voting location? If they had electronic voting with receipts there, could you imagine the Black Panthers outside in Philadelphia making sure that all the African Americans who voted there voted straight Democrat? And what would happen if they didn't? Oh, man. So, Democrats are everything they claim to be against. Just like Rules for Radicals say, accuse your opponent of doing and being what you are. And you see this all the time, right? Yeah. So, yeah. So this story, and luckily Delaware is a tiny state. What do they have? 2 electors? I don't know. Tiny little state, but I wish they would bring electronic voting back to Florida. I really do. Maybe Ron DeSantis can look into that. I really liked electronic voting. It was the best. All right, let's take our break. Oh, I was reading another article today, too. It was somewhere. I put this on Twitter. And what happens if I vote early and the candidate I vote for dropped out? What are my options? You're screwed. You have no options. I don't vote early. I like to vote on election day. Election day is when I vote. Now, when I vote, what I usually do is we get off the air at 9, and I'll go home and pick up my wife and we go vote. And, about 10, 11 o'clock in the morning, you can walk right in and vote even on a presidential election because the polls aren't busy at that hour of the day. But don't vote early because things can happen and you're screwed after that. You've already voted. It's done. You don't get to vote again. They don't find your ballot and take it back. These Democrats. All their people are dropping out, and they're like, what do we do? I voted early. Well, you're done. That's it. You wasted your vote. All right, listen. Let's take our break. 19 minutes after the hour. I'm Brian Craig. You are listening to the Steve KANE Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. On the radio since 1977. That's right. Let's take our break, and then we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
I proudly welcome a new sponsor to the Steve Kane Show, and it's Ace Hardware. Not just any Ace Hardware, but two special Ace Hardware stores in our area. The first is Ace Hardware, located at 365 South Federal Highway in Deerfield Beach, just a quarter mile south of Hillsborough Boulevard on the west side of Federal Highway. And Beach Ace Hardware at 232 Commercial Boulevard, Lauderdale by the Sea, half a block west of A1A. If you own a house or condo, you would do yourself a favor to visit one or both of these special stores. There is such a different shopping in these stores compared to the depot type stores. Service and product selection is what it's all about, and they have a great selection in all their departments that will save you from running around from store to store. And you can get help from their employees who have the knowledge to always put you on the right track to get any project done, large or small. They have happy customers because of the way they treat their customers, and you will become a happy customer too. The list of what they sell is almost endless, but includes plumbing, electrical, sprinkler parts, fasteners of every kind, garden tools, including the largest selection of steel garden equipment. Plus, they are an authorized steel repair center. Let's not forget Benjamin Moore custom blended paints, major brand power tools, including Craftsman, Weber barbecue grills, plus other top-notch brands that are delivered to your home with free assembly. They have the largest selection of key blanks, many down to the color you choose. Even the key fob remote for your doors are sold at these stores, priced lower than the car dealer. Screens are custom made. Glass is cut to size. I could go on and on, but you get the idea. They will make your life easier and save you time and money by recommending the right products for your job. Again, the two Ace Hardware locations are Ace Hardware at 365 South Federal Highway, Deerfield Beach, just a quarter mile south of Hillsborough Boulevard on the west side of Federal Highway, and Beach Ace Hardware at 232 Commercial Boulevard, Lauderdale by the Sea, half a block west of A1A. Or call with any questions, 954-531-6265, 954-531-6265, and make sure to tell them you heard about them on the Steve Kane Show.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks. Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for www.
All right, welcome back. Welcome back. I'm Brian Craig. You are listening to the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977. Welcome back, one and all. Our number toll-free, 1-888-GO-KANE, 1-888-465 2361. That's right? Is it 23? Oh my God. You know what I need to get? I need to get that memory supplement over at Simply Natural that Richard Pearl was talking about yesterday. My Pillow, this is an amazing thing. I just was talking to the My Pillow people yesterday, and the My Pillow towel sets, you can save up to 50% when you order the towel sets at mypillow.com when you click that radio listener link. And this is an incredible deal. And they were talking to me about the towels yesterday. This great new special with the towels, save up to 50% on the My Pillow towels. And I was looking over the My Pillow towels because we need new towels. So we're buying the My Pillow towels, and with this great deal. Listen to this. This is what Mike Lindell, the inventor of the My Pillow, says about the My Pillow towels. Okay, he said, just like all of you, I have problems with towels. Towels feel lotiony and soft, but they don't seem to dry you. And you know what? I've noticed that too with a lot of towels. They don't. They just kind of spread the water around your body. And Mike Lindell, he says here, this is at mypillow.com, I started asking around and found out that towels changed in 2006. Since 2006, towels have been made to feel good to the touch, but they don't absorb water, which is the purpose of the towel. And he says that's why he developed these MyPillow towels. The MyPillow towels, they're not only soft, they actually work, and they're guaranteed by Mike Lindell himself to be the best towels you will ever own. And you can save up to 50% off the MyPillow towel sets at mypillow.com. Click that radio listener special. There's lots of other great specials up there too. But the MyPillow towels, they come in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different colors. And that's a pretty good deal. And I'm looking forward to getting my MyPillow towel set and start using these MyPillow towels. Just make sure you use that promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, at checkout, K-A-N-E. You can also order by phone, and when you order by phone, spell out KANE for them, all right? The number to call to order by phone is 1-800-716-4879, 1-800-716-4879. Use the promo code KANE, K-A-N-E. Couple stories going on there. There's this story today about this guy that was executed in Alabama. And for full disclosure, I am opposed to the death penalty. That's right. I'm opposed to the death penalty. I know a lot of conservatives are pro-death penalty. I am opposed to the death penalty. And this is the story via CBS News, okay? Alabama put an inmate to death Thursday evening for the 2004 slayings of 3 police officers. Now, with that being said, cop killers are the most dangerous of all. If someone's not afraid of cops, what are they going to be like with a civilian, right? Because you go after a cop, you're going to have the entire police department after you. So, so I will agree that cop killers are the worst. But there's a little bit of a difference in this one. Alabama put an inmate to death Thursday evening for the 2004 slayings of 3 police officers who were shot by another man at a suspected drug house. Nathaniel Woods received a lethal injection at the state prison. His execution comes after the nation's highest court refused to block the execution. He was denied by the Supreme Court. The governor said after thorough and careful consideration of the facts surrounding the case, the initial jury's decision, the many legal challenges in review, the state of Alabama should carry out the sentence, which was the lethal injection. He was convicted in the deaths of 3 Birmingham police officers and the wounding of a 4th officer in 2004. But, see, this is where the little speed bump comes in. But he did not pull the trigger. He was convicted as an accomplice of the gunman. Both were convicted of capital murder and sentenced to die. The man who actually pulled the trigger is named Kerry Spencer. According to Spencer, the shooter, the violence began when police burst into the Birmingham apartment where he sold drugs. Officers were attempting to arrest Woods, he's the guy that was just executed this week, on an outstanding warrant, according to a summary of the case in an Alabama Court of Criminal Appeals. Woods said, okay, I give up, and he was being held by officers when Spencer, who said he believed he was under attack, opened fire. Spencer, the shooter, insisted he did act alone. In a handwritten letter delivered to a lawyer for Woods this week, he said that he did all the shooting and that the other guy was innocent. He says, I know that he is innocent because I'm the person who shot and killed all 3 of the officers and wounded the other. So this is a controversial decision. Obviously this guy's no Boy Scout. Bad guy, was in a drug house, but according to all the testimony, he didn't shoot and he surrendered. So I don't know what's missing from this story that led to a death sentence in 2004, but I'm opposed to the death penalty pretty much always, but this one is one that gets life, maybe. I don't even know. I don't know. Because is this a felony murder? There's a lot of information missing here. All the stories are a little vague. If he surrendered, I don't know. I only know what's in the story right now after the execution, and the liberal media, are very anti-death penalty. But no, I'm opposed to the death penalty. And I don't know why more conservatives are not. When it comes to being pro-life, isn't being opposed to the death penalty part of that? It is to me. I don't know about to you guys, but I'm pro-life. Now, again, I don't worry about the guys in prison as much as I worry about unborn babies in the womb. There's a difference there. You know what I mean? But being pro-life, I think, goes hand in hand with being opposed to the death penalty. Okay, now, one quick thing, then we'll take our break at the bottom of the hour so we can be back on schedule for the rest of the show. CNN, when Elizabeth Warren came out yesterday with her fake crying, the fake crocodile trail of tears going on in the driveway of her house with her husband standing behind her, CNN became immediately obsessed with this idea that it's all white guys on the ballot at this point forward, okay? And this is what CNN, they have a story on their website, excuse me. It's the 100th anniversary of women getting the right to vote. That's right, 1920. Which means conditions were perfect in a sense of moral justice to send a woman to the White House this year. But it ain't happening. That's what CNN said. You know, so far as the women getting the right to vote 100 years ago, you know, the suffragettes, the women fighting for the right to vote, were Republican. Almost every single one of them. They were Republicans. It was a Republican movement, the suffragette movement. Those that were opposed to giving the right to vote to women were Democrats. The Democrat machine was running politics back then. Okay? So people forget Democrats were opposed to women getting the right to vote, and the suffragettes were Republicans, and Republicans were, again, Republicans always on the right side giving women the vote, right side when it came to desegregating our society, right side when it came to ending slavery. The Democrats are always on the side of slavery, racism, discrimination, gender discrimination. And somehow these labels get put on Republicans all the time when the opposite could not be true. But what CNN's not dealing with is what it's so everybody knows this, but they're not talking about it. The reason that the Democrats have 2 old white men and not a woman or a person of color is because Democrat primary voters rejected that. They had an Asian man, a black woman, women. They had a Hawaiian with Tulsi Gabbard. They got all these different ethnicities and genders going on. And the Democrat voters who are now complaining that there's no diversity in the presidential race are the ones that ran out the Asians, the blacks, the Hawaiians, and the women out of the race. And in some cases, you got 2 minorities. Tulsi Gabbard, Hawaiian woman, right? Kamala Harris, black woman with Indian background too, right? From on her one of the parents' sides. So CNN, they're asking all the wrong questions. Why did Democrat voters, and you know, primary voters are typically the activists. The question is, why did Democrat voters reject diversity? If if this is a big loss to women and minorities, it's because of Democrats. This is one that they can't throw on us because Republicans are not doing the vote. I know there was the crossover in South Carolina, but that doesn't matter. All these other states, you know, these were Democrat votes. This wasn't a general election where you had Republicans and Democrats. The Democrat Party decided no women, no Asians, no blacks, white men, old white men. So what is it about your voters that they rejected diversity, CNN? That's the question. All right, 32 minutes after the hour. I'm Brian Craig. You are listening to Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. That's right. Let's take our break. We'll be back right after this.
Does your life insurance policy only pay someone if you die? The new life insurance policies allow you to access your benefits even while you were still alive. Due to changes in the insurance industry, all life insurance carriers in 2020 have adjusted their premiums to your advantage. Life insurance rates have been lowered due to the updated mortality tables. People are living longer in America, and that means life insurance premiums are lower. Call Debbie and Dan at I Will Advisors, 954-753-8080 to learn more and for a free review of your existing life insurance policy. 954-753-8080. 954-753-8080.
95.3 FM, 96.9 FM, 103.9 FM, and AM 1470. WWNN Pompano Beach is the Florida Money Talk Network.
Dr.
Be right
Matez,
back.
we talk about charisma. Hormone replacement pellet therapy brings back a lot of things in people, and one of the things I think it brings back is charisma, because I've met many listeners that are patients of Dr. Matez that I've met before they were patients of Dr. Matez, and I notice a big difference. And one thing I notice is a lot of confidence in guys after they start hormone replacement pellet therapy.
I agree with you 100%, Brett.
Yeah, yeah.
Get your mojo back is really
It
what it is.
changes your life. It changes the way you view the world. But you know how I put it once? This was years and years ago. Looking at the world after having the hormone therapy, and you look at the world, and the world is like a technicolor. And when you give up the hormone therapy, it's like watching the world in black and white. It's just an amazing difference. Life
That's
is
a
fuller,
fantastic analogy.
isn't it?
It is.
And it's true. That's how it's a big difference.
It is. As we get older, we both physically and mentally break down, and we tend to get into a very black and white type of existence. A lot of people, everybody's different, but when you get your hormone levels back and you get that vigor back, you feel good. Suddenly things are very bright and colorful.
And I experience this myself, and I see it on listeners, is I'll see a guy, and he's like, and then I'll see him after he has become a patient of yours, and with hormone replacement pellet therapy, he seems like he's standing up strong, confident, 10 feet tall. What is it about hormone replacement pellet therapy that does that to guys?
I believe it's because you're putting God's nectar back into the body, basically. God gave us testosterone in particular to give us energy and strength and endurance and muscle mass. It's what makes not just men, it's what makes people. And a lack of it takes all of those things away from you.
We'll meet with Steve Kane listeners at no charge.
Always.
What is the number they can call to make that appointment?
561-953-5490. 561-953-5490.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by attorney Barry Siegel at KANE Law Group. Avoid probate with a revocable living trust. $350 for single people, $450 for married couples. When you complete your trust with
We got to fly down here and go to our chiropractor.
$100 gift certificate.
I'll talk about that in the next break.
Italian restaurant in Coral Springs. Call the Siegel Law Group.
Steve Kane Show.
9 offices in South Florida, including downtown
Steve Kane Show.
Fort Lauderdale, Coral Gables, and downtown Miami. 1-855. FLA.
Here comes a winner. You got a winner on the line.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WW.
Hello? Yeah. Yeah. I know. Oh, Al the John. Al the John. You are about 6 seconds away from being banned from calling, which you're currently not banned from calling. You know what? You know that? I'm just telling you right now. I'm going to discontinue this conversation since you tricked your way to get on the air. Story came out from the Trump town hall last night, and I got to tell you, I missed the town hall. It slipped my mind. I had something on my mind going on, and I missed this town hall. I did catch some of it this morning before I came to work, but this one I missed. But listen, this is in the Daily Caller. A Pennsylvania Trump supporter. By the way, I think I'm going to block, I think, Al the John's phone number so he's not able to call us from this point forward. And I got to tell you, before I say this about Al the John, okay, and this stunt he just tried to pull today, he pulled a stunt yesterday. I have known Al the John since 1991. 1991, right? And I'm not going to say we're friends because we're not friends, but I've known him since 1991. That's a long time as a caller to the radio. But he's just really, he pulled a stunt yesterday. He tried to pull something just now. And after all these years of knowing someone, to have to discontinue their participation in a program is pretty sad. So I hope you take some time to reflect over the weekend. But anyway, listen to this. A Pennsylvania Trump supporter said Thursday that she was sticking with the president even though family members had cut her out of their lives. This is in the Daily Caller. Her name is Lynette Villano. I bet they're really going to cut her out of their lives now because she called them out on national television. She's a Pennsylvania resident who said she has been on the Trump train since the day he first stepped off the escalator in Trump Tower. She said that a number of her own family members have stopped speaking to her, and some have even given her an ultimatum with regards to her politics. And let me skip down to where she gets into some more detail. She says, I have family members who do not speak to me. I was recently told, this is by a family member, if you support Trump, you are no longer a part of my life. Wow. Well, you know, this is the thing about that. Let's change things around a little bit. If you were married to someone who was ready for Hillary in 2016, and they're supporting this communist Bernie Sanders now, or they're supporting Biden, could you really get along with that person in your household in a marriage? And the reason I say that is if you're married to someone, she said people in her family, I don't know if she's talking about kids, I don't know who she's talking about, but if you're married to someone and they're a hardcore Democrat and you're a hardcore Trump person, your worldview is completely the opposite. You have a different set of moral values than they have. I mean, could you be married to someone that was an abortion activist? And by the way, being an abortion activist doesn't mean you're blocking protesters from clinics. I'm talking about voting for people that are going to maintain the legalization of abortion. If you were married to someone who was for open borders, pro-abortion, increased all these things, what moral system, what moral values do you have in common? Would you be able to be married to a liberal, a hardcore, foaming at the mouth liberal? And it would be difficult. It would be difficult. You know, I got to tell you, it's shocking to me to find. I run into people in my family that I see every 5 years, 10 years, or even longer. Some I haven't seen in 20 years. Sometimes, you got a big family, extended family. You don't see everybody. And it amazes me that everyone in my family, every side of my family, pretty much all Trump people. I don't, it's one thing back in 2016 not to support Trump. It's another thing not to support Trump today when you see what he's done and what he stands for, as opposed to some of the things that have gone on in in 2016, there was a lot of unknown factors, But I think it would be very difficult to be married to someone who is a hardcore anti-Trump, vocal about it, and supported an anti-Trump agenda. It'd be very, very difficult. And I'm not talking about a never-Trumper. I'm talking about a foaming at the mouth liberal. So I would think from a liberal perspective, if your spouse is a Democrat, hardcore Bernie Sanders, Biden-loving Democrat, Elizabeth Warren-loving Democrat, and they get pissed off at you because you got a MAGA hat on, that's a lot of difficulty to live with. Yeah, so I have sympathy for the lady, but if things were reversed, I could understand that because you have a different set of moral values than the other person. And that's a pretty hardcore. You got to be anti-religion, pro-abortion. There's so many. You go down the issues, and it would be pretty brutal. And I don't know could you live with someone that was completely anti-Trump? I don't think so. If you're a Trumper, I don't think that you could. I really don't. So I want to get into a little bit though. Elizabeth Warren. And is that wrong? By the way, your thoughts on that certainly are welcome. 1-888-GO-KANE-1. And I know there's Trump derangement syndrome is a pretty difficult thing. Now I'm going to go to the phone screenless, and I'm going to tell you this. I've not done it yet. If I'm going to go screenless, if this next call is Al the John, I'm blocking your phone numbers, and you will not be heard again on the Steve Kane Show. And I'll tell you this, Al the John, when you get banned, your name will not be mentioned, and you will not be referenced like I'm doing now. It won't happen again. So before I take this call, I'm going screenless. Al the John, if this is you, this is the last time you will be referenced on the Steve Kane Show. And you have been part of the Steve Kane Show. I've known you since 91, 92. You've been a part of the Steve Kane Show as a caller and a listener longer than I've been a part of the show. So I just want you to consider that. Okay? I'm just throwing that out there to Al. Good morning. Oh, good. What? Okay. Well, what? Good. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Oh, I'm calling from Pompano.
All right, Pompano.
I just wanted to say, in reference what you were just talking about, was I am totally a Trump supporter, but I've been with my boyfriend for 18 years, and he just, whenever we're watching the news, he's like, oh, I can't stand Trump. He doesn't vote. And I'm like, you don't even know who the Democrats are, what's going on, which is kind of very interesting to me. I said, so you have no reason to say that you don't like Trump. And I'm sure that, and I know it didn't go back to like being married and like if someone that's like going to vote Democrat.
Well, okay, now I'll tell you this. So I don't know your boyfriend or anything, but what kind of man, what type of man is anti-Donald Trump at this point in 2020? What kind of man? Come on, he's not
knowledgeable about anything that goes on. I don't think he's ever voted in his.
Let me ask you this: Is your boyfriend? I know you're a little prejudiced. Is he a manly man or is he kind of effeminate? He's a manly man. When you say he's a manly man, what do you mean?
He is the kind of guy that would stick up for me. He's protective. He owns a gun, and
He's a gun owner. He's a gun owner? I mean, my goodness, the Democrat, every Democrat want to take his gun away. What kind of gun does he have? You don't know? Is it a handgun? It's gone. The Democrats want to take his gun away. I mean, so he's just ignorant of the world. He's just not informed.
He's not. And the guy across the street, he has 3 guns. And again, he doesn't know. They don't listen.
Okay, so he's ignorant of the world around him so far as the issues go. He just doesn't know what's going on in the political world. So out of ignorance, he's anti-Trump. So he doesn't know. Now, why are you with a man for 18 years and not married? What's the deal with that?
There's a lot of stuff, but...
No, why? Come on. Are you both divorced with kids or something?
No. Yeah, you're right. We are both divorced, but the kids have nothing.
How old are you guys? How old are you and him? How old are you two?
He's 63, 55.
55. So why are the two of you 18 years not married? What's the main reason?
Get married. It's just, I got to go change I never changed my name from the last time I got divorced, which was over 28 years.
How many times have you been married? Oh, and you have your married name from your last husband's?
It was only because of like when my daughter was in school and then the child picked up because we were divorced and then I
don't know. I just don't know why would you be together 18 years and not... Does he want to get married and you don't? Is it a mutual...
Absolutely, like 3 times. It's me, I'm stubborn. I don't know.
So you can get you want to get his Social Security. You know, Steve tells me that older women, although you're not, you're in your 50s, but older women are often looking to marry an older man so they can get his Social Security check when he dies. Because the way it works, when you're married to someone and the spouse dies, you can get whichever check is bigger. So a lot of women are out there fishing for The reason I asked your age is because a lot of people that are older are not married because they have the Social Security check of their late husband. So if they get married, they'll lose that and get a smaller Social Security check. So what an interesting thing about government dependency, though, right? From a conservative viewpoint, you've been together with this guy for 18 years. He's in his 60s. You're in your 50s. You're not married. But when it comes to Social Security time, you're going to make sure you get married because his Social Security check will be larger than yours. And you also assume that you're going to live longer and he's going to die.
Wife.
No, it wouldn't go to the ex-wife. They got to still be married. But that's kind of like that's a little bit of like what Bernie's talking about. It's kind of it really is you're only going to get married so that you can get a Social Security check. That's what you told me. Not enough to get married.
And when you get burned the first time from it, no, it's been 18 years, we can get over it, but it's just... you said, well, we got to get married for the Social Security. That's so, I mean, people do it, but that's what, we were talking the other day with Ed Pasquale, and he makes an argument that we're in a socialist system already. That's an example of it. With the Social Security, how you're getting married just so you can get a government benefit that's larger than what you would get on your own. Lots of people do it. But he had cancer too, and it's like, because if it comes back again, I want to be the one, because we're not. I want to be able to.
Who owns the house?
Oh, we rent.
Oh my goodness. Okay, got nothing, but you want that check. Okay, that's good. Okay, because things get screwy there. All right. I don't listen. Well, I'll tell you. I'll tell you though. I'm giving you a hard time and everything, but I think people rush to get remarried too quick. My father's been married like 5 times. You know what I mean? And I know a lot of people, they're single, they're either a widow or they get divorced and they feel like they got to be married. I think if something happened to my wife, why would you want to put yourself through that again? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? And because once you get married, even though you've been together for 18 years, what I mean by put yourself through that again, the rules change. All of a sudden, when you're not married, even though you're living together for all those years, it's still your rules and his rules. It's not the same thing as when you're married. And that's what it is.
Good friend. We're like best buddies. We both go out to work in the morning.
Yeah.
Really great. It's not like the ring on my finger is going to change my life.
Yeah, but you're living in it. Yeah, but you got to do it to get the Social Security. All right, hey, listen, I appreciate the call, Pompano. Thanks so much. Hey, you can get things out of people. You're just talking interesting in that. That's a whole racket going on of women that are either divorced or widows looking for an older man to get a bigger Social Security check. It's a big thing in Florida. People don't realize that. She is not unusual. In fact, she's more typical than she is unusual. All right, listen, let's take our break. 9 minutes before 8. I'm Brian Craig. You are listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show on the radio since 1977. We'll take a break and be right back.
Stop paying an outrageous fortune for your tires. Go easy on your budget and buy your tires at Friendly Tire in Margate, where they have all the major brands like Goodyear and Firestone at discount prices that absolutely can't be beaten. Steve Kane's tires for his Toyota van at the other shops, $175 a tire. At Friendly Tire, just $75 a tire. That's a $100 savings per tire. Tires for my daughter Emily's car, $135 at the shops around town. The price at Friendly Tire, only $65. That's a $70 savings per tire. These prices are out the door and on the road. Free mounting and balancing and no added charges. Friendly Tire have a great selection of good used tires too, starting at just $30 for most cars. Call my good buddy Friendly Mike at Friendly Tire. Tell him what you drive and he will give you a great low price right over the phone. 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. Online, friendlytire.net.
If you suffer with diabetes, there's a 25% chance that you'll develop a foot ulcer that can lead to severe health consequences, including amputation. At the sole authority, at little or no cost, you can receive your very own therapeutic shoes and custom inserts. Medicare recipients are entitled to 1 pair of quality diabetic shoes and 3 custom inserts. Call the Soul Authority today, 954-597-7060.
So you've been told you need a health test. What are you going to have to pay? Health tests can be very expensive. If you go to your doctor's office or one of the big labs, it can cost you hundreds of dollars. Sometimes I haven't had lab tests because of the cost. Then I discovered Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs. Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs' goal is to get you all the lab tests you need, save you money, and get you in and out in 15 minutes or less. At Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs, you never need an appointment, no doctor's order, or prescription needed either. You can walk right in and have any of their thousands of lab tests done for just a fraction of the price the big labs or your doctor's office charge. Give them a call, 954-906-5983. 954-906-5983. Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs is located on the southeast corner of University and Ramblewood near the Coral Square Mall. Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs. Private and affordable lab testing. 954-906-5983.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for W.
All right, welcome back. I'm Brian Craig. You are listening to the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest running radio show. By the way, Friendly Tire open on Saturdays. If you guys can't make it in during the week for whatever reason, Friendly Tire is open on Saturdays. And also our newest sponsors, Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs and Any Lab Test Now of Boca Raton are also both open on Saturday. And there are a lot of Any Lab Test Nows. But the two that are advertising and supporting the Steve Kane Show are the Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs and Any Lab Test Now of Boca locations, both open on Saturdays as well, and all their information listed at stevekaneshow.com. All right, today on Hulu, this Hillary Clinton documentary debuted, and everyone's talking about it. I did watch the trailer. It's pretty disgusting. I'm going to watch it. Well, let me say, I'm going to attempt to watch it. Bill Clinton talks about the Lewinsky affair for what very well may be the first time, and you've seen this talked about. Bill Clinton in this new documentary on Hillary says that he had an affair with Lewinsky. He had sex with Monica Lewinsky to manage my anxieties. And I'm interested in watching what he actually says, the words. Let me read. This is in the New York Post. Okay. It says here, Bill Clinton says his affair was something he did to manage his anxieties. And what I want to listen for when he says it, the soundbite hasn't been released, so we haven't heard it. Does he say sex? Did he have, I had sex with Miss Lewinsky to relieve anxiety? Because he said there was no sex involved. But this documentary, this trailer of Hillary it's you know what it's like watching? It's like watching a Leni Riefenstahl film. If you know who Leni Riefenstahl is, Google her. If you don't, I mean, you know, it's the trailer is a propaganda piece. There's no ifs, ands, or buts around that. But you know, the thing about they're trying to resurrect her reputation to maybe plug her in at the convention or something. But you know, the Lewinsky affair, man, that was a crazy time. It was such a crazy time in radio. Oh, man, it was the golden age of radio, man. We had so many good times in the 90s. We had the O.J. Simpson murder trial. The Lewinsky affair, I always called Fornegate, and it never picked up. No one calls it Fornegate. I just thought everything's a gate, right? And I just thought Fornegate was such a great label for that, but it never picked up. But what Hillary Clinton was upset about, regardless of what she says in this documentary on Hulu, I don't know how much of it I'll be able to stomach. I'm going to try to watch it. I am, so I can talk about it. But it's going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult because it's propaganda times a million. But Hillary Clinton was not upset that Bill Clinton had an affair with Monica Lewinsky. She was upset that he got caught having an affair with Monica Lewinsky. And there's a big difference in doing it and getting caught. And some of the stories about Monica Lewinsky's encounters with Bill Clinton, I mean, it was, the testimony was unbelievable. There was one, the one that was the craziest of all, I remember this, was he testified, he gave a deposition because he gave testimony, and this came out. It was a Secret Service agent, and he was stationed outside of Bill Clinton's office, the Oval Office that we called the Oral Office back in those days. He was the Secret Service agent stationed outside the Oval Office, and he was standing next to Betty Curry's desk, and she was the secretary to Bill Clinton. She came with him from Little Rock. And they had not heard from the president in a while, and the Secret Service agent got concerned, so he knocked on the door, and there was no answer. And he knocked again, and there was no answer, and he got a little nervous because the president was supposed to be in there. It was the Oval Office. He opened up the door, and the president was gone. And this guy, I remember this guy. He's black. I don't remember his name, but he gave testimony, and I remember this. It was crazy. So he looks in. The president's gone. He's not in the Oval Office. So he goes in the Oval Office, freaking out because he's the Secret Service agent assigned to the door of the Oval Office. He goes in. The president's gone, and he begins a quick search for the president. He opened up the door of the study and caught President Clinton with Monica Lewinsky, and the pants were down and everything. Can you imagine? Oh, my goodness. What the, I know. There was great times, the Lewinsky. I know, isn't that crazy? The horror that guy was experiencing. He was panic-stricken that the president was gone, and then he finds him with his pants down with a 21-year-old girl in the study off the White House. I know, crazy. And there were a lot of other details, which I'm not going to share with you right now, but those were, that was the golden age of radio, was Lewinsky. And there was new things like that going on every day. But Hillary Clinton, when she went on the Today Show and everything, she was upset that he got caught, not that he did it. And when the thing that happened with Lewinsky, the whole feminist movement in this country was destroyed. In fact, Elizabeth Warren and all the rest that are griping about a woman not being able to get the nomination has a lot to do with Bill Clinton and the Lewinsky affair, because the feminist organization, the National Organization for Women, was put out of business because of Bill Clinton, because they defended Bill Clinton even after all these things came out, Paula Jones and Lewinsky, and the feminist movement was destroyed by Bill Clinton. All of the organizations lost credibility. And that was a large part of the Democrat vote-getting operation. One of the reasons women don't support Democrats today, even still, is because of Bill Clinton, in particular, with Monica Lewinsky. And when Monica Lewinsky, they had this staff intern photograph of her that we saw for about a year. And then there was a video of her at a campaign event with Bill Clinton on the rope line with the beret on. And she was good looking. She was not bad looking. And that's all we saw of her for about a year. And then she had to give her deposition. And she showed up to give her deposition, and there was a perp walk. And she had been locked up in her apartment at the Watergate building. Can you believe she lived in the Watergate building? It's true. People forget. For a year, watching TV and eating Doritos and Lay's potato chips, she got out of the car to give her deposition to Ken Starr, and she had gained about 175 pounds between the time we saw her at the campaign event and that still photo. Then when she got there, because she'd been in front, she didn't leave her apartment. She was just eating food all the time. And when people saw what she looked like, the media and the left, she should be, they would say things like this. She should be lucky, Bill Clinton. There were crazy things. The Democrats were defending all of it. So Elizabeth Warren complaining about a woman not being able to become president. The reason a woman has not been able to become the nominee of the Democratic Party today, in large part, is because of Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton and the Lewinsky incident. And the way that the feminists, they got the feminist organizations to defend him and attack Monica Lewinsky for her weight and all these other things. And the feminist movement in this country was destroyed by Bill Clinton then. All right, it's 8 o'clock in the morning. We'll take our break. 2 hours down, 1 hour to go. My name is Brian Craig. You are listening to the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. On the radio since 1977. Our number is toll-free from anywhere, 1-888-GO-KANE-1, 888-465-2631. So what I'm telling you is if it wasn't for Bill Clinton the Democrats would have probably gotten a female nominated this time. The entire feminist movement and every feminist organization went out of business because they were defending Bill Clinton against Paula Jones, who was beaten up by Bill Clinton in an attempted assault, and Monica Lewinsky. And that was the end of the feminist movement. And so many women were turned off to the Democrat Party because of their defense of Bill Clinton. So Elizabeth Warren in the driveway, look to your buddy Hillary Clinton, okay? Her and her husband are the reason that a woman didn't get the nomination. All right, we'll take a break. Third hour starts now. Don't go anywhere.
3 FM, 96.9 FM, 103.9 FM, and AM 1470. WWNN Pompano Beach is the Florida Money Talk Network.
Do you have your
See, I
phone?
told you need a health test. What are you going to have to pay? Health tests can be very expensive. If you go to your doctor's
Oh, yeah,
office
what'd they
or
say?
big labs, it can cost you hundreds of dollars.
Yeah.
Sometimes I haven't had lab tests because of the cost. Then I discovered Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs. Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs' goal is to get you all the lab tests you need, save you money, and get you in and out in 15 minutes or less. At Any Lab Test Now of Coral
Yeah, there's
Springs,
nothing new
you
here.
never need an appointment, no doctor's order,
Nothing
or
new here.
prescription needed either. You can walk right in and have any of their thousands of lab tests done for just a fraction of the price the big labs or your doctor's office charge. Give them a call, 954-906-5983. 954-906-5983. Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs is located on the southeast corner of University and Ramblewood near the Coral Square Mall. Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs. Private and affordable lab testing. 954-906-5983.
This is Steve KANE. I'm here chatting with Dr. Troy Lemaski, my personal chiropractor. Dr.
Well,
Troy,
thank you,
how
Nick.
are you today?
Doing well, Steve.
Chiropractic is an art. All the nerves in your body go through your spine. If your spine's
You gotta
out of
shut your
line,
door.
the nerves get pinched. And of course, you're going to have all kinds of symptoms and all kinds of pain as a result of that. And until you get that spine realigned, you're going to be in pain.
100% correct. If you have a joint, especially in your back, that's stuck, that's not moving properly, it will put pressure not only possibly on nerves, but more of the time on soft tissue structures such as the ligaments, the muscles, and it will create pressure. There are nerves within the joint called mechanoreceptors, and they will affect the actual nerves that are in the joint. Pinched nerves are very common, and they do come from spinal misalignments, but not everybody that has a problem has a pinched nerve.
I've been seeing you for a relatively short period of time, and you have the healing touch, I'll tell you that. When I walk out of your office, I feel like a whole new person. I know you take great care of everybody, but I know you're going to go that extra mile for our wonderful Steve KANE listeners. Doctor, give them the number of the office where they can make an appointment.
It's Coast Chiropractic Injury and Wellness Center, and the phone number is 954-463-3036. 954-463-3036. We're located in East Fort Lauderdale. We're just one block
What thing?
of US 1 and Oakland Park Boulevard.
Oh, I didn't see any
off
of it.
Middle River Drive. The address is 2510.
I forgot about it.
Oakland Park Boulevard, Fort Lauderdale.
Dr. Troy Lemaski.
Well, you can tell me
great
about it.
healer. Make an appointment today.
The Steve KANE Show is brought to you by attorney Barry Siegel and the Siegel Law Group.
Town Hall.
With a revocable living trust. $350 for single people, $450 for married couples. When you complete your trust with attorney Barry Siegel, he will give you a $100 gift certificate to Tavolino Italian Restaurant in Coral Springs. Call the Siegel Law Group with 9
Oh, yeah, the
offices
weight gain,
in
yeah.
South Florida,
She gained like
including
200
downtown
pounds.
Fort Lauderdale. Call
Lewinsky or something in the chat room. I saw that in the chat room.
1-855-FLA-3782.
Listen to the Steve KANE Show on iHeartRadio.
Oh man! All right, we are back. Steve's here. You know, I was just listening to Dr. Troy Lemaski's commercial there during the break, and it's been a week today since I saw. We call him Dr. Troy because his sister is Dr. Janae Lemaski. To not confuse our Lemaskis. But a week ago, after the show, I was having severe back trouble last week, really for more than a week. I couldn't stand up straight. There's your phone, Steve. I was in a lot of pain. It was awful. And after the show last Friday, a week ago today, I went over and had a back adjustment with Dr. Troy. And I've not had a back adjustment for, 10 years or more. And I got to tell you, it was amazing. If you watched on the live streams, I didn't talk about it on the air too much, but during the live streams, I was talking about it last week. I wasn't even, if I had to go to the bathroom, I wouldn't get up to go during the breaks hardly last week because it hurt so bad to get up. And when I would get up, I was walking with a hunchback. And I went in for an adjustment with Dr. Troy last Friday, a week ago today. And immediately after I got off the table, the pain was gone. And here I am a week later, completely gone. And let me tell you something here, okay? You know, Steve's been talking about Dr. Troy for a while. You didn't hear me talking about it because I hadn't seen him yet as a patient. I'd met him before. I've been to many chiropractors, and I talked to him about this after. I stopped going to chiropractors about 10 years ago because the last couple of guys I went to, after I had the adjustment, I told Dr. Troy, I said I felt like I'd been bruised and beaten up. And he told me, he says, a lot of chiropractors don't know how to adjust properly, so they make up for that in brute strength and get very rough with people. He says, I'm very gentle to the touch, and I know exactly, when I do the exam where the adjustment needs to be. And I got to tell you, I went home, and I went somewhere with my daughter, and my daughter had been talking to me about my posture being so poor lately, the last couple weeks, because of the back problem. She didn't even know I went to the chiropractor. Didn't tell her. She says, Dad, your posture's back. You're standing up straight. And then I told her, and I think I was at least an inch, if not an inch and a half to 2 inches taller, because I wasn't hunched over. So the short story there is, if you're suffering not just with back pain, but any type of joint pain, call Dr. Troy Lemaski. He's listed at SteveKaneShow.com, and it's been a week. And the pain is completely gone still after a week. And that's just after one adjustment. Now, that's just my experience. That may not be your experience exactly, but I got to tell you, I've been to a lot of chiropractors. I've never had an experience so dramatic with a chiropractor. So call him, go talk to him. Any type of joint pain, back pain, neck pain, knee pain, ankle pain, finger pain. I tell you, with the computers, you know how it goes. He's listed at SteveKaneShow.com. Here's his number, 954-463-3036. He's located in Fort Lauderdale, just immediately east of Federal Highway on the south side of Oakland Park Boulevard, 954-463-3036. Best chiropractic experience I've ever had in my life. And I'm telling you, I've been going to chiropractors about 18 years old, okay? So I'm telling you, I'll tell you, it's as dramatic. You know what it is? His chiropractic adjustment on my back was as dramatic as Dr. Matez with hormone replacement pellet therapy. I couldn't stand up last week. So anyway, that's that. All right, well, Steve's here. Lots going on. Elizabeth Warren out. So.
You didn't get to see the town hall last night?
I forgot about the town hall. I missed the whole thing.
Well, Trump was brilliant.
I saw a couple clips, but
thing. The town hall is a whole different thing than what we're used to with the. If that's a town hall, what do we call the other thing? The
rallies.
The rallies. It's not as
Mrs.
exciting.
Beasley.
There's more content. He gets into the issues. And
well, it's intimate.
It's intimate, but it's not as funny, and
it's more personal. You know what it's like? You know what it's compared to a rally? It's like Elvis Presley. It's like comparing an Elvis Presley concert to that special he did in the black leather on that stage and around. You ever see that concert with Elvis Presley? They run it on TV all the time, and there's like 50 people sitting around a little tiny stage, and Elvis is in black leather playing, and he's talking. It's not all as exciting as the Elvis the clips I saw. It looked intimate and personal.
Yes, it is, but not as bombastic. I like the other Trump, I must confess, but I guess he'll do a mixture of both.
Yeah. I'm sorry I've seen clips of it, but the problem is clips aren't the same as experiencing.
I've never seen, I've been around politics a long time, and it's fascinating to me what goes on as the plot unfolds, but I've never seen anything like this. I've never seen, the only word that comes to my mind when I think about
Mrs. Beasley.
Biden
That's
and
true.
Trump
She looks like Mrs.
is
Beasley.
mismatch. I mean, it's like me getting in the ring with Mike Tyson.
You know what? I don't think Biden and Bernie are both clowns. They're not credible candidates. They're just not. And the Democrats are not running to win the presidency. They're running to maintain a party that's fallen apart.
I mean, yeah.
They're not. Neither of them are credible candidates.
would say that, but the striking thing with Biden is that he's just out of his. I mean, he's sick. He belongs in an institution. He just can't. He's in and out of reality.
Admiral Stockdale.
And it hasn't even. No, not like Stockdale.
He was checked out.
Not as bad as Biden. Not as bad as Biden.
We'll call in Jeff.
I mean, it was.
Well, I'll tell you a thing about the town, because I didn't see the town. I saw clips and highlights of it. So, again, the clips and highlights, you don't get the same feel. But this is what I picked up from the clips and the highlights I saw from the town hall this morning. And the thing with Trump, as opposed to other town halls, because I've seen these other town halls on Fox with Democrats. It seemed to me to be the first town hall I've seen with a presidential candidate or president that hasn't been scripted. The other town halls are all setups. And from what I saw, this was pretty real. They set up the other, because they got to protect the other candidates. Even the Democrats, Fox News. This one seemed to be like the first unscripted town hall.
Trump, I'll tell you what I didn't like about the one with Trump. They didn't have anybody that disagreed with him. I mean, it was
That's how popular he is.
But yeah, but he can handle. I mean, if anybody can handle himself in an adversary situation, it's Donald Trump, and that's what I mean. They didn't have to make it nasty, but they could have thrown him some stuff and some questions that would have at least tested him, you know. But it was too much of a love fest. I just don't.
Yeah.
Just didn't make it.
What do you want to have? Okay, well.
Well, no, I'd like him to get a hard question or one that really put him on the spot.
What would be a hard question?
Oh gosh.
If you were to ask Trump a hard question, what would that be? It's a tough one.
Yeah, well, I mean, but if I was going to be on the show and I had a day to prepare, I'd say.
I mean, I don't think any question's tough for him. I think he's got answers to everything.
Well, he should at least have been tested a little. You know?
Nah, I don't know. I didn't see it, so I can't defend it or criticize
it.
it.
Off the top of my head, I might ask him something about, does he feel that it's a mismatch, and does he feel, you know, that is he afraid that Joe will get a sympathy vote or something that would.
No one's going to give a sympathy vote to a guy who doesn't know what that.
What are you talking about? Democrats are getting ready to give him a whole bunch of.
Well, that's well, they're going to vote Democrat anyway. I'm talking about people that aren't hardcore Democrats. I mean, to me, when it gets down to it, it's pretty scary as far removed as he is from coherence.
Don't laugh, but I worry about this. You know, there are some really whacked out people there, especially in the Democratic Party, and it just worries me. I don't know. It worries me that.
You're always worried. What are you worried about? How can you be? You got a guy who doesn't. When he said Super Thursday.
Too good
come
to
on.
Be true. Too good to.
What's too good to be true?
To get a candidate, to get an opponent like that in the election, you would think he should have no chance. He should be. They're showing polls, and I know with polls.
They're all fake.
You know, yeah, they have to be. I mean, because I can't believe what they tell us with the polls.
Yeah.
I just don't believe it. Nobody could vote for this man.
Listen, listen, what they're telling you, the news, you can't, what the cable news are all doing is a disservice because they're not talking about what's going on here. This is not a race for the presidency. The Democrats are running to save their party. You know, that's why they're.
Joe Biden as a candidate is going to save their party?
There'll still be a Democrat party, not a Democratic Socialist Party. And the most popular candidates were all Democratic Socialist, other than him. Here's where the top candidates. Biden, right? Then you got Bernie, Socialist. Elizabeth Warren, Socialist. Pete Buttigieg, Socialist. They're all Democratic Socialists. He's the only one that's not. And they're trying to keep their party, the Democrat Party, intact. Now, they're not running to win the presidency.
I tell you something, if that's true,
it is true.
I think it's bad philosophy. I think they should have featured the socialist wing of their.
Well, we're not into the
out. Isn't that? It's not going to. This way, the question.
They were wiped out. Bernie got wiped out, and then on Tuesday, every candidate that AOC backed lost. Not just Bernie. She backed a lot of people running in congressional races. They all lost. So the Democrat, Nancy Pelosi and Schumer's machine was all about getting rid of the power of Bernie and AOC, and they're cleansing themselves of that. They'll worry about the presidency in 2024. I'm telling you, they don't even, it's not even on their radar about when. All they're trying to do is get through the nomination process without Bernie being part of it. That's all they're concerned about.
I hear you. I understand what you're
They plan on losing. They expect to lose, but they don't want the socialists to take over their party. And it was something to say, if
The party is going to be a joke after this.
but there'll still be a party.
Let me ask you another question. Actually, this might be one I might throw to Donald. Do you think that when all is said and done, that Biden is going to be able to get through?
I don't know. What do you think?
No.
Get through the campaign?
No.
What'll
I
happen?
think he's going to crack up.
Yeah.
I think it's going to
Probably on stage somewhere.
It calls to mind one of my favorite plays, Inherit the Wind, the last scene of Inherit the Wind, where the guy playing the presidential candidate comes apart and just starts to babble incoherently. Not a pretty sight. And I don't think it's going to be a pretty sight in this election either. Let's take a break. By the way, if you would like to give your comments on what's going on here, it looks like we've got a candidate here in the presidential race. It looks like Biden's going to be the man. How do you feel about that? 1-888-GO-KANE-1. Put in your 2 cents. 1-888-GO-KANE, K-A-N-E, followed by the number 1. We'll be back right after this. If you suffer with diabetes, did you know there's a 25% chance that you will develop a foot ulcer at some point in your life? And foot ulcers, when you have diabetes, can lead to severe health consequences up to and including amputation. Now, Medicare recognizes the importance of preventative foot care and has provided coverage for those of you who are at-risk patients. I want to introduce you to my good friends at the Sole Authority. With the Sole Authority, at little or no cost, you can receive your very own pair of therapeutic shoes made specially for diabetics. You're probably not aware, but as a diabetic Medicare recipient, you are entitled to 1 pair of high-quality diabetic shoes with 3 custom inserts per year. These are not the ugly Frankenstein shoes. These are name-brand shoes. They're stylish. They'll provide you with the extra width and extra depth to stop diabetic foot problems before they begin. Oftentimes,
okay.
The preventable measures that is most effective is wearing the proper shoes. Call the Sole Authority at 954-597-7060 or online at soleauthority.com. That's THESOLE authority.com. Tell them Steve Kane sent you.
This is Brian Craig. I've been telling you about the great deals and incredible customer service at Friendly Tire on both new tires and
When Richard calls in, remember, let him go where he wants to go. Yesterday he had something totally new. It was really good. So he knows where he wants to go.
Yes, Brian, I want to give you a testimony about the tire place up in Margate, Friendly Tire. Friendly Tire is everything you said it would be, man. I went up there and got me some used tires, and when I went up there, man, he was very courteous. My whole family's going for that one, but it's everything you said it was going to be, man. I appreciate you for that, man. And, Mike's a great guy, man.
Well, what's your name?
Antonio.
All right, Antonio. Hey, I'm glad we could save you and your family lots of money on tires at Friendly Tire.
Oh, no doubt, man. Thanks so much, man.
Do what Antonio did. Stop into Friendly Tire and find incredible deals on both new and used tires. Give Friendly Mike a call right now. 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. And Mike will give you a quote right over the phone. 954-977-9445 for Friendly Tire in Margate.
Listen to the Steve King Show on iHeartRadio. Just search
All right, we are back.
Oh boy, you want to take any calls?
Yeah.
Okay, that's you're on the radio. Good morning.
Good morning. How you doing, guys?
Good morning.
I listened to that show last night with Temple. One question they gave him was semi tough, but I like the way he answered about the health care, the way it didn't develop, the way he wanted it to develop, and he claimed that when you had to vote for defensive on it, and I like that about Trump. He's really, he's not a politician. He's like a guy that wants to solve the problem. He doesn't like deny something, even though that.
Well, part of the problem with the healthcare issue is Obama wrecked the private healthcare industry. You know, for there's no, I guess, like private infrastructure anymore, because yeah. Well, yeah. Yeah. Well, they have to make up for all the people, because everybody that has government insurance, the government tells them what they'll pay or take a hike. So people that don't have government insurance like you, the other people have to make up for what you're not paying. That's the way it works. But the thing with Trump though, Steve thinks they went too easy on him last night. I didn't see it.
No, was he ever put on the spot?
There's nothing to put him in the spot for. The only thing I can think about, and it really wasn't totally his fault, because it's just, is the healthcare thing. I'm not quite happy with it. I don't think you were either. It's not necessarily his fault, but
well, it doesn't.
The military is great. Everything is doing well.
Well, there are two things he didn't get done so far as that goes. When he ran, he wanted to stop. There's a thing that the private healthcare industry has a racket going on where you can't sell insurance over state lines. It keeps the monopolies. That's why you have these insurance companies of Florida, of Georgia, of Idaho. He said he was going to do away with that, and that didn't happen because the insurance companies, they do what Bloomberg does. They buy members of Congress.
Really great. You're my news station. You're really.
Well, God help you. God help you. What do you disagree with? You say you disagree with us sometimes? What do you disagree with us on? Can't be much.
With you? Oh, not with you.
Oh.
Here thing.
Oh. Yeah, it's true. But you know what? If you go to the town halls on Fox, they're all that way. There's not been one tough question asked of any candidate at any town hall. That's the format of the town halls. I haven't seen any.
Certainly the formula when they're talking to liberals that they agree with, but you expect that.
Well, Fox News is supposed to be fair and balanced. They've done several town halls with Pete Buttigieg, with all fake scripted questions. I've seen many town halls. The one they did with Bernie Sanders was disgusting. Oh my goodness. The one they did, Martha McCallum and Brett Baer with Bernie Sanders, that was the town hall format's not a debate. It's kind of like it's a small, intimate suck up fest. Usually is what they are. But I didn't see last night.
The small
Steve Kane show.
Sir, how long have you been listening to the show?
Hey.
About 3 or 4 years, but.
Yeah. Well, listen, we got to run, but thanks for the call. We have attorney Barry Siegel on the line, Steve.
Attorney Barry Siegel, he of the elder care segment of the program. How are you doing, Barry? What's up?
Steve, I'm doing great. How are you?
Excellent.
Good. Well, when we talk about the elder law, and we talk about setting up our affairs in a way that we can protect our assets if we or someone in our family, a spouse, becomes ill and needs care, and we have to pay for that very expensive care. One of the considerations is not just protecting our money for ourselves, but what if let's say, for example, you're married and you have a spouse who is now going to have to continue with living expenses and is going to have to pay for things even
Nothing.
If we
Just
had
wait
to go
till
to
I
a
get
nursing
parole.
home or an assisted living, and we have to, if we don't have another way of paying for it, and we have to spend our hard-earned money and the money that we struggled to save all of our lifetime, and now we're retired on a fixed income, and all of a sudden we have these huge expenses coming out. What's going to happen to our spouse who needs to still buy groceries and pay the rent and pay all kinds of other expenses? Or, I mean, what if, God forbid, we have a child who's disabled and has needs as well? We need to be able to protect those assets for the people we love. So that's another reason why it's so important to make sure that we have a plan set up in a way so that if we ever need this kind of care and we don't have a plan like long-term care insurance to pay for it, or we don't have enough, we need to look and see what the options are. And the very important thing, as we always talk about, is don't make the decision for yourself that you have too much money or too much income or that you can't qualify because somebody gave you the wrong information. Come in and get that information. And if you come to see an attorney like us, like a law firm like ours that will review everything, and then we tell you, yes, you can't qualify, at least you'll know. And it's free to find out. And you may be very surprised because most people, we can get qualified, even though they thought they had no chance of being qualified.
And of course, with a no-charge consultation, it just makes perfect sense. Make that appointment with Barry. I'm going to give you the number to call. It's toll-free number 1-855-FLA, as in Florida, 3782. Once again, 1-855-FLA, 3782. Have a great weekend, Barry, and we'll speak to you next week, all right?
Sounds good. Have a great weekend.
You too, and we are...
No, we'll take a quick break. Quick break.
Quick break, and we'll be right back.
95.3 FM, 96.
We got to get our call-in straight because we're getting call-in backed up with call-in.
WWNN Pompano Beach.
Our call-ins are getting too backed up.
If you suffer with diabetes,
You
there's a
gotta call
25%
them later.
chance that you'll develop a foot ulcer that can
No, it's
lead
not
to
set up.
severe health consequences,
No, it's not set up that way.
including amputation.
We just got to get
At the
everybody to
sole
call on time.
authority At little
You got to
or
call
no
them, Dad.
cost, you can receive your very own therapeutic shoes and custom inserts. Medicare recipients are entitled to one pair of quality diabetic shoes and 3 custom inserts.
It's easy.
Call the sole authority
You're not,
today,
but I can't. I need you to vamp
954
for me sometimes when I'm getting these people. It would help.
7060.
You got to give me a minute to get him.
iHeartRadio. Just search for WWNN.
And we are back as we watched that. That was the first town hall show that Donald Trump did. There were a couple good moments in it, but by and large, just what happens is you get hooked on the what did you say before?
The town hall. Oh, you mean the rally?
Yeah, the rallies. You get hooked on the rallies with the excitement, with the adrenaline, and now that we've reached this point, it's almost anticlimactic. Let me ask you this question. I was trying to get a reading on whether this thing is totally in the bag for Biden, or whether there's still any potential for competition.
Well, hold. I'm doing something here. I can't. Yeah, wait.
Okay, all right. That
need
was
to say-
something that bothered me. I kind of get the feeling that what's happened is there's...
Yeah, you confuse the town halls are always this way. You've just never watched
no,
one.
it's not just that. I'm trying to figure if it's over or not.
Of course
they're
it's over.
Just trying to make it exciting.
Yes, that's exactly what they're doing.
So there's no way...
There's no competition.
No one's going to get together and...
Take it from Trump?
to
No.
their senses.
No. There's no competition.
Bernie's going to have to...
It's between Bernie and Biden.
Biden is going to have a stroke to...
There is no competition between Trump and either of those Democrats. It's all fake news to prolong it for their television ratings.
Yeah, but in the meantime, the real question is, if they're going to get in a fight, is there going to be an issue where that splits? That's what I was looking forward to. By this time, I was looking for a close race where the entire Democratic Party would self-destruct. And I'm disappointed that it didn't pan out that
Well,
way.
because we haven't had the convention yet.
Well, that's.
You know, that's why.
Well, but you're saying it's over. Even
No. I'm talking about the presidential. There's no competition between these guys and Trump. None. Zero. Bernie and Biden, there's still going to be conflict at the convention.
That's the only kind of competition I expect at this point
Yeah.
in time.
Because Bernie's people are going to have a meltdown. At the
Well, that's
convention.
what I want to see. That's what we need.
Violence
We need the
and chairs
Democratic-
throwing and
not necessarily violence, but limited.
I don't know.
Exuberance.
Why do you want to see that?
Because I want the Dems to self-destruct.
No, they're pretty self-destructive right now. They don't. I mean, they got nothing. They don't even have a platform. I mean, what are they running on? That's the problem. They don't know. All they're running on is we got to get rid of Trump.
Yeah. And they figured the only way to get rid of Trump is with Biden. I don't know. It's going to be a massacre. It's almost going to be. Do you have any fear that he's going to end up, that Biden's going to end up with a sympathy vote?
I don't know why you keep saying that.
Because he's pathetic.
No one's going to vote for the president of the United States because he's an old guy they feel sorry for.
Talking about Democrats.
No.
Well, who do you think's been voting in these primaries?
I don't get the sympathy vote thing that you keep talking
You don't
about.
think that you don't think that watching Biden up there?
That's not why he won those primaries. He won the primaries because the Democrats were afraid that they were going to have a socialist candidate. That's why.
All right, let's take our break. You're listening to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. We'll return after this.
Okay, I can't get a hold of Richard Pearl, so I'll run one of his recorded.
FM and AM 1470. WWNN Pompano Beach is the.
I'll run his recorded from yesterday. I can't get a hold of him.
For our health report with Richard Pearl from Simply Natural in Sunrise.
Well, I thought I'd talk about something that really is personally important. My dad died on about 15 years ago this month for neurological reasons. He had Alzheimer's. And the reason I'm bringing it up is, with all the politics that are going on, I watch Joe Biden and I see that he's got early signs of dementia. And actually not that early, but early enough. And there are certain things that can be done to help the brain. And
So since he missed his call-in, this is yesterday's.
Brain factors. I reformulated somebody else's formula. And I put in all the different things that could improve brain health. And I've had such exceptional responses to it. I just thought, this would be timely to bring up. I mean, I haven't used it yet, my own senilejoe.com. That's how convinced I am is that he has dementia. And nobody really wants to talk about it. And it's true in people's lives when they have family members that are not acting right. The first thing they want.
Hey, Richard, I couldn't get through for some reason. I was having a difficult time getting through. I'm running your call-in from yesterday because I was having a tough time getting through with you. When we get back, can we go to you, but keep it quick today? Just do a tag onto that? Okay. He's just going to do a tag with this at the end with you, okay? I just got him.
It has alpha GPC, and this is a type of choline that nobody heard of when I made this.
So you know what I mean? So it's not, just do a tag.
Used by the brain.
But he's on the line.
And it has acetyl L-carnitine, which makes neurotransmitter acetylcholine, which weighs down short-term memory. It's got phosphatidylserine, another compound that's incredibly important to brain activity, and huperzine A and vinpocetine, and a bunch of things. We don't have time to go into the.
So it helps with memory, which is
it's
key.
incredible for memory structurally. So as we age, our cells don't work as well, and one of the problems that we have is that we have a problem with short-term memory because we don't produce enough acetylcholine.
When you go to him, when we come back, talk to him about his weekend hours.
It also allows for
and that'll be short,
to go to the cell and for the membranes to function properly. So what I found was that, and getting both hemispheres to work, et cetera, et cetera. So I made this formula because of my dad. And it was a legacy project. My dad wasn't interested in anything nutritional. It's just how he was. You can lead a horse to water, but you need a thirsty horse.
Yeah.
And he wasn't. So I decided, well, in his honor, I'll make this product. So we made it. He's been dead 15 years this month.
Oh.
And and we made it, I don't remember exactly, but probably north of 10 years ago.
Uh-huh.
And it's been working great for so many people. So you don't have
thanks,
to have
Sarah.
dementia to use it, but if you're concerned about the quality of your brain health, and that's really the most important thing we have is our being. If you don't have that, everything is a disaster for not just you,
When I talk to seniors, the first thing that seniors are always, in my experience, looking for is help with memory.
Just
That's a
talk
big
to him about
problem,
the
and I
weekend
can
hours.
understand that. So, listen.
I'll tell you what the problem is after. I can't tell you now. I'll tell you what the problem is after the show. I just can't tell you now with
Simply Natural. Tell them you want that supplement that'll help with the memory. I think you'll all remember that. Simply Natural is located in Sunrise, just north of Sunset Strip on the east side of University. And you can call over there, 954-741-4045.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio.
He's on the
Just
line,
search
so.
for WWNN.
All right, Richard, I know you have weekend hours. What are they? How can folks visit you over the weekend?
Well, we're not weekend hours. We're always open 11 to 9 every single day, Monday through Sunday.
Oh,
right. Every single day. And sometimes, I shouldn't say
Steve
this
Kane
out
Show.
loud, but we're so busy sometimes that we're well past closing. If you see the lights on, we're on. And that's just the nature. We've been in the same spot for 23 years. It's Simply Natural. And we've got the restaurant next door, which we've had for 15 years, which is completely organic. So we're sort of like a place that people like to come to, like a landmark. So we're open all the time. I know I only got a moment or two. I just want to say, weekend's coming up. We should all be really calm and happy. The jobs report came out today. It's up 100,000, higher than expected.
Wow.
And the unemployment rate went to 3.5%. People are nervous about a lot of things. There's a product I have, and let me just say, this last week, the anxiety level's been really high. There's a product called Anxiafen that we carry. It's a natural product. It works great. There's no side effect. You can take it whenever you want. You can stop whenever you want. There's no, any kind of withdrawal thing or anything. It's just takes the edge off. It has some incredible ingredients in it. I don't have time to go into it for today, but it's got SAMe, rhodiola, phenylalanine, theanine, tyrosine, 5-HTP, Vitex, etc. It's a really great product for any of you who are just having too much anxiety. We've got all kinds of products to boost your immune system, to fight off things you're concerned about. I wouldn't worry about the coronavirus. They're hyping the hell out of it. And the reality is there's stuff that I have that can really boost your immunity, that can really make a difference. So don't panic. But if you are nervous, the TV's hyping everything. Or if you just have other issues, if you have anxiety or depression or any kind of major stress right now, I've got many things that work, but this product, Anxiafen, you can take as little as one a day. It works great, no side effect. Like I said, stop anytime. It'll even help you to sleep.
Richard, a pleasure, and we will speak to you on Monday, all right?
All right, and if they want to reach me, just call me at 954-741-4045. Be safe, guys. Enjoy your weekend. Thank you very much.
Okay, Richard Pearl over at Simply Natural.
Oh, great first week with Simply Natural. We want to go back to the calls?
Sure.
All right, let's see here. Steve in Royal Palm.
Good morning, Brian. Good morning. You know what I saw missing? Remember Trump when all the news morons out there were saying he wasn't acting presidential? Remember when they were coming out with that stuff? He wasn't acting presidential? But last night I watched the town hall, and I saw a man sitting there confident. People were asking him questions and whatever. He was responding back. Okay, let's put Bernie Sanders in there, or Biden in there. You have Bernie Sanders who would be sitting there, God forbid he became president, at town hall or whatever, and he would be gyrating like a marionette on springs, just all over the place, spinning out all over the place. I mean, that's the image.
Well, listen, Steve, this is the thing with, it's going to be Biden. They're not over Bernie. The question is, are they going to have a brokered and plug Hillary in there? But if there's a debate between Trump and Biden, the question is, how will Trump handle it? Will he be calm or will he try to trigger Biden? Because when Biden starts to get questioned, you know, that's when he starts to lose his abilities. And is Trump going to try to trigger him by pointing out some of these mistakes he did last night?
I think that's what Trump does best. And
What do you think, caller? No. So what does Trump do in a debate? Does he try to trigger Biden by going after him and pointing out all of his memory lapses and try to trigger one to happen during a presidential debate? What do you think Trump does in the presidential debate with Biden?
Well, understand this. He's going to be walking a double-edged sword, the president. Because if he goes after Biden and he starts catching him and making Biden go mumbling and go into his pre-amnesia days, Trump's going to look like a bully.
Trump runs the risk. That's exactly the danger for Trump. Trump runs the risk of activating a sympathy vote for Biden.
Well, look at the movie, The Manchurian Candidate. The whole thing at the end of that movie, without being a spoiler, was to win sympathy.
You can't spoil a 60-year-old movie. But you know the thing, the spoiler alert ends at some point. But you know, the chances of Biden having a meltdown on a debate stage are very high if he feels stressed.
What do you think he's going to feel stressed?
Not if Trump doesn't go after him.
And so is what you're saying is you don't think Trump's going to go after him?
Well, that's what we're talking about. If he goes after, because the moderators aren't going to go after Biden, they're all Democrats. So Trump is going to have to go after him, and if he goes after him and he has a meltdown, I don't think he'll look like a bully. I think it'll scare the hell out of people that Joe Biden is got a chance of becoming president when he has a mental meltdown. People will feel sorry for him, but it's not going to help him.
You always pat yourself on the back occasionally.
Yes.
You're able to lead callers into a certain area where they make fools of themselves or they give themselves away.
Exactly.
You have that talent. Trump has that talent as well.
But he's got someone running interference. All these moderators hate him. Even the Fox News moderators, Chris Wallace will be one of them. So all the moderators in every debate hate Trump.
The discrepancy. It's just an unequal fight.
Well, now here's the thing, okay? I'm not sure when the next Democrat debate is, but who's left? Is it just Bernie and Biden left now on the debate stage? Everyone else is gone, right? Nobody else. This will be the first. Who's left? Yeah. The other debates, there have been so many people that Biden hasn't had to talk much. A second here or there.
Well, if all this is true, then why is it that they're meeting to see if somebody wants to trade votes or what?
No, I'm not talking about the.
Like this
There's going to be a debate between Biden and Bernie at some point. I don't know when it's scheduled, but the thing is to watch Biden in debates and try to find out what triggers his mental lapses. And if that happens in a presidential debate, people will feel sorry for Biden, but they're not going to vote for him, and they'll get angry not at Trump. I think people will get angry at Biden's wife for putting him up there, because Biden should not be running for president.
No.
It's elder abuse. No, but he gets pissed off. Biden is talking about Super Thursday, okay, and things like that. So that being pissed off is different than losing your mental capacity on a national debate on television that's live. It's never happened before, and I would think that Trump has probably been watching Biden in these debates very carefully, in these speeches and these slips, and trying to find out what causes them, what brings them on.
That you mentioned yesterday, which is going to end in the course of the day. It wasn't in the town hall portion, but they were talking a lot about
Yeah. Well, I wasn't
having a Bernie moment.
Hey, yeah. Well, no, but if
A Biden moment.
what Trump's got to figure out is when Biden slips, what's triggering that, and then try to do it.
It's going to trigger. I remember what I was going to say. One one of the things that's going to trigger them is the stuff with Bo. They're going to go into that, right? They said yesterday.
What? Go into what?
They go into the problems with the sun.
Oh, that'll
Right
freak him
away.
out.
Big time.
He'll lose it with that.
They're
He'll
gonna-
lose it with that. That would be a trigger for Biden to lose control and forget where he is and everything else.
and
Yeah.
That's
Isn't that, you think so? I don't think so. He was selling out his office. I think that's very relevant.
I was asking a couple of questions.
Listen, I appreciate the call, Steve. We have William Youngerman on the line, Steve, for the Gold Report.
The Gold Report that you all wait for each and every day at this time. William Youngerman advising clients on trends and movements in the precious metals markets now for over 50 years. And a sponsor of the Gold Report here on the Steve Kane Show for the last 15 or 16 years. William, what's going on out there?
What's going on out there is that there's turmoil in the financial markets that are sending money to treasuries and gold. And we're seeing new record highs, 7-year highs at least, for the gold markets, and probably the lowest 10-year bond that I can ever remember existing, and that's at under 0.75 percentage point for a 10-year treasury.
Wow.
So gold hitting a new high this morning. The market yesterday was up $35.60 on gold at $1,671.80 the ounce. Silver was up 22 cents, closing out the day at $17.41, while platinum was down $2 at $8.65, and palladium was up $1 at $24.43. This morning we saw gold get up to $1,690, Steve, almost to the $1,700 number we were talking about last week. And then pulling back a little bit, back down to about $16.75 right now. That's still up $3.20 after being up $28. The market on silver down 12 cents right now at $17.30, but it was up to $17.65 earlier this morning. Platinum, the big winner this morning, up $32 at $897 the ounce. We did get up to $908 earlier. And palladium up $38 at $2,481 the ounce. That's again the Dow Jones dropping yesterday basically 1,000 points and scheduled to open another 750 points lower this morning. The flight to safety is still seeing the U.S. Treasuries getting bought at ridiculous rates. I mean, to buy a 10-year Treasury and get 0.75% on your money is less than the inflation rate right now. So gold is still the bargain of the century as far as your protection of wealth and the best insurance policy you could have financially speaking today.
Well, there you have it. Gold plowing ahead, setting all kinds of records, and that's where you got to be, folks. Drop into William Youngerman, located at 150 East Palmetto Park Road in Boca. That's the Bank of America building right on the first floor, directly across from the bank. You can reach William by phone at 1-800-327-5010 or go to the website, williamyoungerman.com. It's like a visit to the museum. You're going to love it. William, have a great, great weekend, and we will talk on Monday.
Okay, you too now. Thank you.
You take care.
Yeah, the thing with the debate with Biden and Trump, this thing about the sun being off limits. He was selling his office. It should not be off limits. You know what? I remember.
It's not going to be here. Trump announced it yesterday.
Yeah.
He made a big thing of it. He says, that's the first thing we're going to talk about.
Yeah, we find out now that a top guy that works for Mitt Romney, that creep, was on the Burisma board with Hunter Biden. So
Really?
so that
How nice.
yeah, I can't wait for that to make the mainstream. But the thing about the sun, it will. It's already starting online. Back in '96 when Bill Clinton was running, they were attacking him for selling the Lincoln bedroom, right, to donors. That was nothing compared to what Biden was doing. Biden was making all those deals with the Chinese, the deals with the Ukrainians for his son. Peter Schweitzer said, I heard an interview with him recently. He said all these members of Congress, all these politicians except Trump, got family members things. No one's done it to the level of Biden. Biden's got about 5 people in his family. It's not just his son. He's got a daughter. He's got.
That's the catch. I mean,
Yeah.
If everybody else is doing it.
Not Trump.
What?
No.
I'm not worried
No,
about
Schweitzer
Trump,
said.
if there are enough people doing it, it's going to.
No, not like what Peter Schweitzer says is someone's got a brother or a kid. No one is done what Biden has done to his level.
No one has done it on the scale.
He's got 5 different family members working out on all these crooked deals. Hunter Biden's only one. There's 4 others. And when he's the only guy in the race, Trump's going to be all over that. Steve Kane Show.
Wild. It's going to be wild. And what's the next week? Next week is there a big.
I don't know what the next debate is going to be.
One more big debate next week.
Is there? Well, it's got to be. It's got to. I don't know when the next debate is, but it's going to be brutal for Biden because unless Bernie is going to sell out now, because he seems pretty defeated. Bernie could sell out at this point and lay off on Biden. You know.
Well,
Steve
Steve
Kane Show. Steve Kane Show.
A lot of these people are enraged. That's what I look for. I look for.
Oh my goodness. I don't want to. I just want to see it over and see Trump reelected.
What are you talking about? You want to forego all the great drama of the next?
Let's have the election today.
4 months?
Yeah, just have the election and
Then
get it
it's
over with.
over and then no.
They'll always be after Trump.
Savor it.
Mm-mm. When Trump's reelected, the media are going to immediately start talking about lame duck. Watch. Usually that starts 2 years in, but they're going to start it on day one.
Just lame duck. They're going to.
Steve Kane Show.
Start their next skullduggery, whatever it is. The next.
Oh my goodness.
Investigation.
Well, if you could hear the calls off the air of the drunken, profanity-filled liberals, it's over. It's over. They're already drunk. Well, the language is the problem. I'll put drunk people on the air all day, but with the language is the problem. I don't mind intoxication. It's interesting, but not the language. The language is a way not to have to defend their positions, I guess.
A way to get hung up on if they.
Yeah. Oh, now, so listen, it's Friday. A couple quick announcements here. On Saturday, Friendly Tire is open on Saturdays, everyone. If you can't make it in the Friendly Tire during the week, Friendly Tire is open on Saturdays with all those great prices on new and used tires. And our newest sponsors, Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs and Any Lab Test Now of Boca, are open on Saturdays as well. And these 2 locations, they have the same owner, Any Lab Test Now of Boca, Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs. The Coral Springs location is brand new, just opened up in January. And, oh yeah, and there are a lot of Any Lab Test Nows around, but the 2 that are advertising on the Steve Kane Show, Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs, Any Lab Test Now of Boca, and both of their addresses and phone numbers are listed at stevekaneshow.com if you have any questions, but no doctor's order needed, no prescription needed, just walk right in, no appointment needed either, and they guarantee the lowest price on all of their thousands of lab tests. And this is an interesting thing. You know, a lot of people go in to do drug testing on their own. A lot of people do so. Drug testing results can be available right there on the spot. And this is something I've been telling people about this week. A lot of times you walk into Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs, Any Lab Test Now of Boca, you're going in for a drug or an STD test, and you may not want to announce it in front of everybody when you walk in. When you walk in, don't tell, if you want to be a little more private and don't want to say, I'm here for an STD test, just ask the girl at the desk, say, hey, can I have a private consultation? And they'll take you aside into one of the private consultation rooms, and then you can tell them you're there for a drug test or an STD test. I wouldn't want to announce it either in front of a waiting room of I'm here for a drug and an STD test. So ask them for a private consultation, they'll give it to you. Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs is located over by the Coral Square Mall in the southeast corner of University and Ramblewood, and their number 954-906-5983, listed at stevekaneshow.com. Any Lab Test Now of Boca, both of these locations have the same owners. That's why they're both with us. Any Lab Test Now of Boca is in that Western Beef Shopping Center, the Sandalwood Plaza on 441. Their number 561-237-5009. So they're open on Saturdays, okay, both of those locations.
Well, that does it.
Yeah.
For today.
And the week.
It'll be a big week next week.
Every week's a big week.
Yeah, exactly. If you don't wish it away.
No, I could. Believe me, when Trump's
Time will come when we'll miss it.
when Trump's reelected, do you think they're going to stop going after him? It'll get worse. It'll get worse.
You're right on that. Anyway, on behalf of Brian, I'm Steve. Till Monday, God bless America.
95.3 FM, 96.9 FM, 103.9 FM, and AM 1470. WWNN Pompano Beach is the Florida Money Talk Network.
If you suffer with diabetes, there's a 25% chance that you'll develop a foot ulcer that can lead to severe health consequences, including amputation. At the Sole Authority, at little or no cost, you can receive your very own therapeutic shoes and custom inserts. Medicare recipients are entitled to 1 pair of quality diabetic shoes and 3 custom inserts. Call the Sole Authority today, 954-597-7060.
Does your life insurance policy only pay someone if you die? The new life insurance policies allow you to access your benefits even while you are still alive.
All right, guys, take care.
In the insurance industry.
We'll see you later.